to the caucuses in January. But yeah, as it stands now, Vic, it's looking like Trump is going to be very hard to displace. Nobody has been able to make a run at him yet.
And I see these polls, and I know it's so early, and we don't even know if Biden is going to be alive, much less be a candidate in 2024. But it always shows them so close, right? Dead heat or Trump up by a couple of points. Some polls have Biden up by a couple of points. Who would vote for a guy who has just ruined this country? Who would do that?
Well, I think that there are some people who are so either anti-Trump or they've been brainwashed to just dislike the Republican Party no matter who the nominee is. I mean, you can go back to John McCain and Mitt Romney and others, and they would vote knee-jerkly against that person regardless. And so they're not even keeping an open mind about it. And Joe Biden, if he's the name at the top of the ticket for them, they will pull the lever for Joe Biden. So I think that there are increasingly, though, a large number of Americans who may have, been a little uncertain in the 2020 election. Maybe they were a Trump supporter in 2016, but they changed to Biden for whatever reason in 2020. That's a group that Joe Biden has having a hard time hanging on to. If you go down the issues, whether it be Bidenomics, which he thought was going to be a big winner with the voters, it's turned out to be a dud for all the right reasons. I mean, look at the inflation and the cost that we're all paying for groceries and gas. To foreign policy, I mean, comparatively, if you look at Trump's record on national security and foreign policy compared to Biden's, it's a disaster. I mean, we have war in Europe, we have war in the Middle East, we have China threatening in the Pacific. I mean, it's clearly there's something going on, and Joe Biden is having a number of crises that he's having to deal with. And this, I think, has put the American people, at a place where they are having serious doubts about his character and leadership. And then you factor in the age that even the Democrats seem to be concerned mostly about. And you have a terrible recipe, which is why Trump, despite, his own challenges in the courts, which you and I know are largely a sideshow and distraction by the left to try to alter the outcome of this election. He's running even or ahead of Biden.
That's crazy. Well, that makes sense. So if you are an American and you're going to decide who you want to rule the world, as they say, right? The leader of the free world, safety and security for our country is always top of mind, I would think, and I would hope. So when a candidate says, if you spill a drop of American blood, we will spill a gallon of yours. Boy, that's the safety and security I'm looking for.
Yeah, well, and obviously this the focus on Biden now and what's going on, particularly with Israel, but also the fact that let's not forget he just put forward a $106 billion foreign aid package, $60 billion of which goes to Ukraine. There's a $14 billion or so for Israel, and other money that we have deep concerns about going to the Gaza Strip for what he says are humanitarian purposes. But I think we have now seen that Hamas is not interested in necessarily providing humanitarian aid to the people that live there. And so you have to wonder what this ultimate end goal is for this administration when it comes to some of these conflicts. And yes, Vic, we do pray that no Americans are put in harm's way in any of these foreign entanglements. But yeah, it's a situation where the United States, there has to be a plan here. And I think that's one of the reasons why people are probably looking to President Trump and saying, you know what, this is a guy who can rightly tout that there were no U.S. involvement in foreign wars during his 4 years in office. Maybe that's the right approach. Maybe that's the direction that we need. Maybe we need a businessman who can bring the parties together and negotiate a settlement peacefully rather than spilling blood.
Yep, absolutely right. So Mike Johnson becomes the Speaker of the House, and immediately people like Joy Reid on MSNBC were like, well, he's a Trump supporter. He's a Trump follower. He's Trump. I mean, my God, it's like 6 degrees of Donald Trump they play in the media.
I'm not necessarily surprised that they're having the meltdown, but it is quite comical. By the way, some of the things that Speaker Johnson predicted, going back almost 20 years now, about this is prior to his being in any kind of elected office. These were just op-eds that he wrote about the transgenderism and kind of the sexual agenda of the left have all come true. I mean, the guy in many cases predicted exactly what was going on, and the fact that he had serious doubts or questions about the integrity of the 2020 election. I mean, I think that half the country shares that opinion based on how the left changed the rules and used the system, to rig it to their advantage. So, yeah, again, I'm not surprised. I think that this will continue to be a theme that you hear because they see this as an opportunity to try to brand him right out of the gate. He's somebody that a lot of Americans don't know. They've never heard of him before. But you know what? We're seeing early results that look positive. He's already committed to passing these spending bills that enraged so many of the Freedom Caucus members that Speaker McCarthy did not when he was in the leadership seat. So they have a busy week. They have 3 big spending bills that they need to get done by the end of this week. Of course, we have that deadline of November 17th coming up quickly where the government needs to be funded. So, Speaker Johnson's got a lot of work to do. And I think we as conservatives should be cheering him on and hoping that he gets the job done.
Absolutely. I mean, when the whole thing was going on, Byron Donalds looked like the guy that it was going to be. And then, Mike Johnson, a unanimous vote for him. So, I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, it's definitely good that they reached a resolution on this. I think that the other thing that you and I have talked about as we were going through these 22 days without a speaker, the grassroots conservatives were not looking for kind of the next man in line, and so that's why they rejected Steve Scalise. That they rejected Tom Emmer. I think Jim Jordan's a slightly different case. It seems that the moderates were out of sorts with him, given some things that they didn't like. But the fact that we are going in a different direction, we have a former chairman of the House Republican Study Committee, the conservative caucus in the House, now as the speaker, the first time that that's happened. It's a tremendous achievement on the part of conservatives. And I think that you're going to see over the course of the rest of this Congress now a more conservative direction, which is exactly what the voters wanted when they installed conservatives to lead this institution in the first place.
I hope he keeps his promise on investigating the Biden crime family, because the media and the left were like, no, Joe's not making it. Show me a check. Show me a check with Joe's name on it. And bang, they found a check with Joe's name on it. Right? So when do they admit there's a problem?
Yeah, I think first order of business, he needs to get the appropriations bills done. They should have had those done. It was disappointing that McCarthy wasn't able to finish the job on that. After that happens, you're absolutely right. The focus needs to return to investigating this administration, holding it accountable, not just the Biden crime family, but so many other corrupt things that are going on. If you look at how much money under Biden was the Democratic Congress appropriated Biden in his first couple of years in office with the Inflation Reduction Act, the misnamed Inflation Reduction Act, and other green new energy projects. You have to have some people in Washington who are putting some scrutiny onto these bureaucrats who are spending the money, because just like we saw under President Obama during the Solyndra days and the shenanigans that were going on there, I guarantee that there's a lot of wasteful spending that this administration has, either going to their buddies and friends in the green energy business or going to other places that the voters should know about.
Now, if you were to go on 60 Minutes, Rob Bluey, right, and Leslie Stahl is interviewing you, and you're going to say, well, we have a spending problem, she's going to say, you know what? That's glib. You're glib.
You're glib.
Remember she did that to Marjorie Taylor Greene when Marjorie Taylor Greene said, we don't have a revenue problem, we have a spending problem. You're glib. Oh my God, how did she ever get a job at all? Ever? I don't know.
I don't know.
God.
Well, they always want to deny that spending is the problem, but we know now the consequences of the spending spree that this administration has gone on. It's the inflation that we're all paying. I mean, the fact that mortgage rates are 8%, and the fact that everything costs significantly more money. It's a result of this administration's reckless spending. I mean, and frankly, we need somebody like a Mike Johnson in the speaker's seat to ensure that we're having offsets. For instance, let's just take this foreign aid. For the $14 billion that they're proposing to send to Israel, Speaker Johnson wants to find offsets to pay for that spending. That is not something that even Republicans were doing in the past. And so, yes, we should find offsets for new spending. If it's not budgeted, you have to come up with the money and take it from some of these green energy programs that Biden's tried to push through.
All right, Rob. Somebody would like to ask you a question, if you don't mind. She is Linda. Good morning, Linda. You got less than a minute. Make it count.
Okay. Hey, you know that retarded rule that Matt Gaetz initiated, saying that he was mad, so he got Speaker McCarthy out. Is that still in force?
It still is. It's called the motion to vacate. It's actually been something that is historically always been part of the House. It was Nancy Pelosi who took it away when she returned to the speaker seat, because she had a narrow margin and did not want the Democrats, the squad, or others to try to unseat her. And so, yes, there were no rules changes as part of Speaker Johnson's election. Somebody could use it against him. But the way that historically both parties have operated is that you needed a majority of each caucus in order for it to come. Now, Gaetz did not abide by that, which is why he was able to oust McCarthy and do it kind of single-handedly.
Yeah. Linda, thanks so much for the question. We appreciate it. All right, Rob, Heritage, give us all the stuff. Daily Signal and Heritage and all this stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, please visit heritage.org. You can find out about some of the great things. We had Governor DeSantis speak at Heritage on Friday. We have some of the other contenders coming up in the weeks and months to come, so you'll want to stay on top of those. And you can follow me personally at Robert Bluey.
All right, we do. Rob, thank you so much.
Thank you.
See you, Rob.
So you're playing Love Unlimited Orchestra.
Yeah.
Over the weekend, this is why my house is a circus, okay?
Yeah.
If there were cameras and microphones in my house running 24/7, it'd be the biggest rated reality show ever, okay?
I keep trying to convince you and Jessica, but you just won't do it.
Jessica got a bunch of new fish, okay? Two of which, if they breed, if they spawn, whatever you call it in fish world, she could sell the fish and make some money. They're hard to get fish. So I said, come on, guys. I said, Alexa, play some Barry White. So
I can see you doing it.
We played Barry White on the Alexa to get the fish to, do it. They got to do it.
Do it.
All right. Lots going on today. That's Crap is next on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Welcome home and whoosh, y'all.
Stream the Vic Porcelli Show at NewstalkSTL. You're listening to the Vic Porcelli Show.
What am I doing here? I want to be clear.
On NewstalkSTL. This is 101.9 and 94.1.
I have to tell you, if this is how they're going to behave, I'm rethinking my position.
NewstalkSTL.
When you're approaching retirement, there are a lot of questions to answer. Do you have enough money to fund your income for life? How should you claim Social Security? And what's your plan for health care and long-term care? Hi, I'm Eric Robert, Director of Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL 101.9. Don't leave your retirement to chance. It's crucial to understand and address relevant risks before you retire. Our team can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create an investment portfolio designed around your needs. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
Ackerman Toyota has the 2024 models. You're going to be impressed. Check them out in person at Ackerman Toyota, Hampton and Interstate 44. In fact, you've got to see the 2024 Toyota Sequoia. Very impressive. This is the time to buy and get top dollar for your vehicle. Looking for pre-owned? Ackerman Toyota can also help you. Ackerman Toyota at Hampton and 44. AckermanToyota.com. Ackerman Toyota for life.
Hi, it's Todd Showalter from The Right Mind Show. Don't let going to the office become a grind unless it's a gourmet grind from DiscountCoffee.com. Enjoy coffee house blends that can't be found in stores. And don't be fooled by coffee services that lock you into paying more over time. DiscountCoffee.com has the very same coffee brands and supplies for less shipped directly to your door. Plus, save 15% off your order with the promo code RightMind. That's DiscountCoffee.com.
Free speech is alive and well in America.
Sometimes it's hard to know what's real and what isn't.
Right here.
The country is heading in the wrong direction under this president.
We're suffering shortages. America's running out of everything.
News Talk STL. News, analysis, opinion. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. The Vic Porcelli Show.
You're going to like this guy. He's all right. He's a good fella. He's one of us. You understand?
Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
Understood. Good morning and welcome back to 1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL. So the third and final, right? Is it the final debate?
I think so.
So early?
Well,
yeah, I guess so. Because
for the primary.
Republicans. Yeah, you're right. So the third debate is happening on November 8th. That is a Wednesday, I believe. Westport Playhouse, 635 Westport Plaza is the place to be for a big debate watch party.
It's going to be fun.
It's going to be great. Doors open at 6. Program starts at 6:30. Debate time 7 to 9. You can go hang out with the people here at the radio station like Mike Ferguson and Tim Jones and Chris Arps. And then me and Tony and Katie will be here at the station for a post-debate wrap-up. The Drunken Fish will cater free food for the event.
Hey,
guys, better bring me some drunken fish.
No kidding. And the stream is going to actually being broadcast at Westport Playhouse with you guys as well.
Yeah, that's right.
Afterwards,
we're your exclusive home on the radio for this debate.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. So you want to see that debate or hear that debate in your car or on the stream? Because if you watch it on the stream, you get to see all the the people that work here too, and that's much better. AJ Mall coming up at 9:41 today. Can't wait to talk to him. VA Kruta from the Daily Wire at 10:05, and right now it's time for That's Crap.
Welcome to That's Crap. It's the game where we find out if it's the truth or if that's crap. Here's the host of That's Crap, Vic Porcelli.
Thank you, Jim Maldwin, very much. Thank you, everybody. Thanks. Oh, studio audience, calm down, ladies. Calm down. Ken is a married man. You stop it. This is where we find out if it's the truth or if that's crap, as Jim said. And today, our contestant is a United States representative. She hates Donald Trump, in case you didn't know that. She was heavily involved in the impeachment hearings. Every time she talked, I would get violent thoughts in my head because she's a liar. Well, you know what? Why prejudge? That's why we're here.
Yeah.
That's why we're here.
I was going to say.
To see if she can tell the truth or if that's crap. She is Democrat Representative Pramila Jayapal.
I've been waiting for that one.
On Meet the Press. Okay, Representative Jayapal. The category is Israel. Good luck.
You have characterized Israel as a, quote, racist state. After a backlash, you clarified that you don't believe the existence of Israel is racist, but that the government engages in racist policies. Can you explain clearly what do you mean by that, Congresswoman?
Well, Kristen, I clarified this right away, not after a backlash. Within 12 hours of making the statement, I clarified that what I meant is that the existence of Israel is absolutely legitimate. And I think the world has come to see it as legitimate. However, there are racists within the Netanyahu government, and there are racist policies that Israel has been carrying out.
So I'm sorry, before we get to seeing if that's the truth or if that's crap, if she said actually that Israel was a racist state, who is she or the American Congress to say whether Israel is a legitimate state? It's none of your business.
Right. Yeah, exactly right.
I mean, there are plenty of other countries that got problems that you see on the news. China You know, I never see any of the on either side really have this much of a backlash against China.
No.
Let's remember there's Uyghurs still in the camps in China.
Millions of people are dying every year in China, and we don't even know what from.
And they go after Israel?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, so you're saying, Representative Jayapal, that you didn't say Israel was a racist state. As a judge, let's use what? Democrat Representative Pramila Jayapal.
Can I say something? Can I say something as somebody that's been in the streets and has participated in a lot of demonstrations? I think I want you to know that we have been fighting to make it clear that Israel is a racist state, that the Palestinian people deserve self-determination and autonomy, that the dream of a two-state solution is slipping away from us, that it does not even feel possible. It does not even feel possible.
Well, Representative, so I'm sorry, she's been in the streets and at demonstrations. That makes it true? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That affects her thinking?
Yeah.
Really? How telling is that?
Yeah.
That, I've been in the streets and I've been at demonstrations. Oh, well, then you're right. Right?
Yeah, right.
So, unfortunately, you did call them a racist state. You are looking for a two-state solution, and you do think that Israel is a racist state. So, I'm sorry, Representative, but that's crap.
Okay, so on the other clip, she said, I clarified what I said. 12 hours later, she said, plain and simply, Israel is a racist state.
I didn't hear her say the word legitimate at all. In that.
No,
Right.
and she didn't dissect it to be Netanyahu and the leadership over in Israel. She was saying simply, Israel is a racist state.
Right. With Kristen Welker, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm sorry. That was at the demonstration.
Yeah, that was a demonstration.
Then with Welker, she
Right.
tried to walk it back. So again, I ask, who is she or anybody in the House of Representatives to say whether Israel is a legitimate state or not?
Well, this is where we've become. This is what we've become as a nation. We've got representatives that don't represent us. They represent all the other people in the world. I mean, this is the globalist mentality that's happening, and you know what's infesting in this government, Vic.
Mm-hmm.
This is something that you just brought up that really we don't think about much. But if you really take it apart piece by piece, what people are saying individually, we're becoming a globalist society. Look at what the Biden administration is doing at our southern border right now. We wonder about all these supporters of Palestine, where they're coming from. They're coming from the southern border.
And you know, so globalists, right? People who are globalists. Doesn't that mean everyone on the globe?
Yeah, that certainly doesn't mean the United States.
Last time I looked on the globe, Israel was there. Israel was on the globe.
Well, they're the exception.
Right? That's exactly right. They're the exception.
Yeah.
Oh, global, but not you Jews. You Jews, get the hell out of here.
Right.
I mean, it's just so ridiculous. And I don't understand how they get away with it. And why aren't they protesting China every day in the streets? Why aren't they protesting North Korea in the streets every day?
Yeah.
Why Israel? They always talk about democracy, don't they? The left always talks about democracy, even though we're a constitutional republic. It's always about democracy. And Israel they have a very democratic organization there and organization, country there. And why not protest the real villains is my point.
Oh, I keep going over that. I keep thinking about the very first day that I saw the attacks on the Israelis by Hamas and by the Palestinians who supported Hamas. Okay. They were going into people's homes, Vic. I just try and imagine here in St. Louis County, you're at home, you're watching TV, you got your kids sitting there, you're watching TV, you're feeding them. And a bunch of people come in with machine guns and just blow you all away. That's what happened.
And here's the thing, too. We have a Second Amendment. So you have the right to bear arms and protect yourself. Israel doesn't really have an equivalent to the Second Amendment. Matter of fact, they took back a bunch of guns from people in Israel.
Yeah, I think that's going to change now.
Oh, no kidding. Boy, no kidding. All right. Sorry. That's all the time we have for That's Crap.
This is Jim Modulin speaking for That's Crap, a Mark Goodson, Bill Todman radio production.
Thank you, Jim Modulin. This is Vic Porcelli saying, help control the pet population. Have your pet spayed or neutered. Goodbye, everybody. Okay, big Monday show today. Let me cross off Doug Blair before I start to say that.
Yeah.
Today we're going to talk, okay, we have to talk about Chandler, of course. Matthew Perry died. Very, very sad. You know, people are really sad about it, and for good reason, you know. He was a funny guy.
Yeah.
He was a troubled guy.
Yeah.
Alcohol, drugs. Virginia Kruta from the Daily Wire joins us at 10:05. Coming up next, an interview I think Ken and I have both looked forward to for quite some time. His name is A.J. Moll. He is a local activist for Israel and just in general, a political activist for the right side. He's going to join us next on 1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Welcome home.
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. The Vic Porcelli Show.
What am I doing here? A vital part of preparing for hurricane season is to get vaccinated now.
On News Talk STL.
On the next
Larry Connors, USA.
What do Hamas terrorists do when they're frightened? They hide under babies' cribs and they hide under hospitals. Israel says it has proof.
Larry Connors, USA. Now, weeknights 6 until 8 on News Talk STL.
This is Christina Straight with Straight Realty reminding you, why pay more than 4? In 2003, we had a dream to start a real estate company that would revolutionize the real estate market. Now, 20 years later, after navigating through the many markets' ups and downs, we know exactly how to help you in this challenging time. I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. Don't give away your hard-earned equity. Give us a call today, 314-441-4444, 314-441-all-4s. And remember, why pay more than 4?
Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
April Haskins, Executive Director, Dogs for Our Brave.
Because they're mobility service dogs, they can go get medication bottles. They can pick up the phone. So essentially, when they are living with a family, the cool part is watching the wife or the husband or the kids go back to just being the family. Because now that dog is able to come in and truly provide services that the family's been tasked with.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps. Weekdays at 4 on News Talk STL.
Kids don't always like to get school report cards, but they are important and helpful. They document subjects where they're strong and others where they need to show some improvement. Ever wonder why you don't get a report on how your child's school compares to others? At the Show Me Institute, we think you should, and that's why we've started the Missouri School Rankings Project. Click on the website moschoolrankings.org, and it's all there. Rankings and letter grades for all the schools in Missouri. The rankings are based on several categories, such as student performance in English, language arts, and math, ACT scores, and graduation rates. Then we take the rankings and come up with a grade point average, just like your child has. Each school and district will have a grade, and the website is easy to use. Don't you want to know how your child's school stacks up? Now you can. Learn more at showmeinstitute.org. The Show Me Minute has been brought to you by Show Me Institute and Show Me Opportunity.
This hour, the Vic Porcelli Show, brought to you by Connor Roofing. You can count on Connor for all your roofing needs. Visit ConnorRoofing.com. That's CONNER Roofing.com. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. You're listening to the Vic Porcelli Show.
Never rat on your friends and always keep your mouth shut.
Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
Do you now believe Iran is deterred?
Well, what I believe is that the United States will follow through on what we say we're going to do. We said that if our troops were attacked, we would respond. We responded. If they're attacked again, we will respond again. And we are vigilant because we are seeing elevated threats against our forces throughout the region and an elevated risk of this conflict spreading to other parts of the region. We are doing everything in our power to deter and prevent that. but I'm not going to predict what the future brings other than to say that if we are attacked, we will respond.
Okay, great. That is Jake Sullivan, a guy who I still cannot believe has a job. But here's the deal. Israel doesn't just have a Hamas-Palestinian problem. They got an Iran problem, too. Another country that wants to just wipe them off the face of the earth.
Yeah, that's even bigger because they're the ones who are actually being able to supply Hamas and everybody with what they need to attack
Thanks
Israel.
to Biden and Obama.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Our next guest is a guy that we couldn't wait to talk to. He's a local guy here, activist, Jewish guy. His name is AJ Moll. AJ, thanks so much for being with us. How you doing, man?
Thank you, Vic. Good morning. How are you?
We're doing good. We're doing good. And I know that, when all this kind of stuff happens, we talk to Karen Catalina every Thursday, and the day after this happened, so October 7th, and then on the 8th, we had her on just because of who she is, and we should have called you too, and I apologize that we didn't. So how are you feeling with all this hatred for your people?
I've been staying up so late at night. My wife, we're watching CNN. Well, I'm watching Fox, but I have to watch CNN with her, and it's like hours upon hours of media, and it's kind of taking a toll. And I keep looking at my wife, like, is it time to buy a gun now? I'm very pro Second Amendment, but I also feel very safe in Chesterfield, where I live, that I never needed a firearm.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where we're kind of at.
So are you going to get a firearm?
We're getting there. I keep asking her every day. You sure?
We got one. We were the same way. We were definitely pro Second Amendment. Didn't really have any firearms in the house. And then when the Michael Brown stuff started moving westward, into the suburbs, I said, and we did. We loaded up. We're ready to roll. All right. So listen, one thing that I've said, AJ, since this thing began was, and even before this, a few months ago, I got on a Third Reich binge. I was watching, documentaries on the Third Reich.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to myself, how did the world let this happen? This is ridiculous. I'm glad that wouldn't happen now, right? 2023, the world would never let that happen now. And the world is letting that happen now. So I put up a quote that says, if you're wondering why your Jewish friends are filling your social media feed with nonstop talk about Israel, it's because 90 years ago, people said nothing. And I fear that we are there now.
Right, I agree. I mean, listen, the Jews are very, very small in number. I mean, we're only 16 million people worldwide. There's only 60,000 of us in St. Louis. So we don't make huge, big noise with protests and rallies, et cetera, just because we're small in number. So we rely on our neighbors to speak up for us. And hopefully your listeners will do that. Speak up for us.
We're trying, man. We are trying. We're doing what we can.
Hey AJ, this is Ken. AJ, what do you think the reason is behind college students being so aggressive against Israel with their lack of knowledge? What do you think that's causing all this?
So, I really couldn't figure it out until I read somebody who's way smarter than me. I don't know the gentleman's name, but I saw some tweets that he put out. He studies algorithm, and he said he did analysis of TikTok, and there is just a ton of their bot farms, people from Iran and their sponsor countries that buy social media accounts and put out false narratives. And where are 15 to 20 somethings getting their news from? They're not watching Fox, MSNBC, CNN. They're not reading even the Post-Dispatch, which, isn't so far. It's not really that balanced, but they give a little bit of balance. So they're getting their information from TikTok, and they have a skewed view of reality of what's going on in the world.
Yep.
And I'm even seeing young, not many, but there's young college kids that are Jewish that are sympathizing with Iran and Arab nations that are terrorists. It's crazy.
It is crazy. And just to dovetail on that, I've been spending a lot of time on your Twitter page, and AJ's got a thing up that says Jews for Jihad. That's as ridiculous as chickens for KFC.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, look, Israel for whatever your views are on LGBTQ and some of the social issues. I mean, I'm a very tolerant guy, but guess what? All of the Muslim countries are not tolerant. It's illegal to engage in a homosexual relationship. Guess what country is the only tolerant country in the region? It's Israel.
Yep.
So you have progressives and liberals that are
they're chickens for KFC is what they are.
Exactly. I mean, go over to any of those countries and raise a rainbow flag and see what happens.
Did you want to say something?
Well, I wanted you to cite what you always say.
Okay, there were some kids that were protesting in New York, and clearly gay kids, and they have a big sign that says "Queers for Palestine," and I'm like, great. Take your little sign, go over to Palestine, and see how they see what they do with you. They'll throw you off a building. So another one of your great tweets, AJ, is listen to this, Ken. Israel protects civilians. Hamas uses civilians for protection.
Yeah,
there's a difference. Explain that, AJ.
So look, Israel is the only country that I know of, and I'm also a student of history, that will go in, do robocalls, drop leaflets, and say, hey, guess what? We are going to bomb your building within the next 24 hours. You need to leave for your own safety. I mean, have you ever heard of any military that would do that?
No.
That's Israel.
Yeah.
And the other country, Palestine or Hamas, what they do is they hide weapons underneath hospitals. And so it's a tough call. I mean, how can you bomb a hospital, but at the same time, you know that there's people that want to blow you up right underneath these hospitals.
Right.
So that's what Israel does. They said, here's the warning, get out now. In 24 hours, we're going to bomb you.
Yeah.
So it's not like we're not telling them.
There's a picture of a store, I guess, a shop in Istanbul. And I didn't think we'd ever see this kind of thing again since the 1940s. Jews not allowed.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how far we've gotten. Jews not allowed. What is their problem with Jewish people? I don't get it.
I wish I knew. I
Yeah.
mean, well, you know, they have every excuse in the world. We're too poor. We're too rich. We're dirty. We're too elite. I mean, whatever argument you can come up with, they lodge it at the Jews. I don't know why.
AJ,
it's been going on for thousands of years.
Yep.
And AJ, they've got a propaganda machine in Hamas and in the Palestinians on our social media. I know you touched on it, but I just saw a meme last night where they were carting a dead body of a I guess Hamas or a Palestinian through the street, and as they're doing it, his arm moved and pointed in a direction, and then put it back on his arm, and it's like they're staging these things in order to make the sympathies go toward them.
I know. I see it, and people run with it. I mean, if you think CNN is skewed, but you're going to get your news from Al Jazeera.
Yeah, right. No kidding. So just go ahead. I'm sorry, AJ.
Oh, I was just going to say the worst one that I just seen. I have not seen the video. I don't want to see the video. But when they went in October 7th, there's a story that they killed the father. They took a baby, put it in the oven, and then they raped the mother 3 times and then killed her. What kind of people do that? That's just so barbaric.
Yeah.
And think about what you're saying.
And Israel's not allowed to retaliate and go root out Hamas and take care of their problem. Israel will be happy to live in peace.
Yeah, right. Exactly right. Think about what you said there, right? What they did to that family. And people like AOC and Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar and Cori Bush support that. They support that, AJ.
Look, it's so odd to me that I am now going to be knocking doors for a Democrat in the primary in the district I don't live in. I saw Lisa Clancy, who I've never been a fan. I've never agreed with anything she's ever said. She has come out and supported her Jewish neighbors. And I've even liked a couple Biden tweets. Like, is this crazy? I think America's starting to be unified, at least for one thing.
Well, not completely
Yeah,
unified.
no.
I guess that's the problem. Lisa Clancy has a very momentary lapse of reason, or a momentary moment of reason. That's fine. But like you said, you disagree with most of the stuff you said. But you know what? I'm all for anybody sticking up for Israel and sticking up for our Jewish friends here in town for sure. And last night or yesterday, a flight from Israel to Russia was accosted by a group, a lynch mob, really, and looking for Jews to hurt and kill Jews. Are we in 1939? I mean, what's going on?
Well, Russia's always had a little bit of problem. I'm a fourth generation St. Louis, but my great grandparents came from Russia to escape their pogroms. I mean, it's nothing new under the sun, as they say. But that was crazy. And I don't think that there were even any Jews that were flying on that air flight, but they tore up the place.
Yeah. But what if there was? What if
my gosh. Well, they were checking passports. It's just like you said, Germany, 1939, 1940. I need to see your papers.
And think about the difference between then and now. Now we have the technology to just go on the internet, look up El Al Airlines, and see where flights are coming in. This isn't going to be the only situation like this where they go to airports looking for Jews to hurt or to kill. It's going to happen over and over again. They didn't have that technology in 1939. They still did it.
Right.
I don't get it.
Right.
I just don't get it. All right, AJ, let's talk about this event you got coming up, stlforisrael.com. Tell us about the event.
Yeah, so I'm not associated with this group. I just am, I guess, a messenger. I know that they've had a rally 2 weeks ago, and it's mainly a Christian group who is supporting Jews and supporting Israel, and I thank them. It'll be this Sunday from 3 to 5, 41 South Central. That's the government building. If anybody ever went and protested during COVID, that's the place to be.
Mm-hmm.
And, please come out and stand as brothers with us. It doesn't matter what color you are, what religion you are. We have to support Israel. It's our only democracy in the Middle East.
Right.
I mean, that's very important to understand. Without Israel it could be total chaos.
Yeah.
I mean, it is total chaos.
It's Sunday, November 5th, 3 to 5 p.m., rain or shine, in Clayton. And get out there and support your Jewish neighbors. I mean, okay, I'm going to bring up something that I bring up way too much, AJ, but it's still important, right? How old are you? Do you mind if I ask how old you are?
44.
Okay. I'm a little older than you. So back in 1972, the Olympics were in Munich, Germany, and a bunch of Arab Palestinian terrorists kidnapped and killed the entire Israeli team.
Right.
Since then, because this is why I say, and my wife said to me one day, she goes, "Don't you mess with the Jews," she said, because they're going to get you one way or another, no matter how long it takes. Well, and she's right? Because the commandos, it took them 20 years or more to get, they got almost all of them. And it's all documented in a movie called Munich by Steven Spielberg, which I really urge everybody to watch. And I just hope it works out because, like you said, they're surrounded by enemies. They're the only democracy, our only ally truly in the region. And you have, heads of state in that region calling for the destruction of I don't know. I'm sorry, AJ. I just apologize for the conduct that's going on around the world and even in this country. I'm sorry. Okay?
And I really need to make a point and make it crystal clear. I am not anti-Islam or anti-Muslim. I am not Islamophobic. These are just people. If you look at your neighbors that are Muslim, talk to them. They're just people like us. But when you're talking about what's happening in Palestine, this is a terrorist organization, okay, that just happens to be their foundation is fundamental jihad Islam. And that's not the case for most of your American friends and for the rest of the world. I mean, look at the other countries. They said, well, why aren't these people from Gaza fleeing to other Muslim countries? These other countries aren't going to let them in because they know what kind of organization they are.
Yeah, AJ, I used to rent from a Muslim family, an apartment in the city of St. Louis, and they were just sweet people. We had a great relationship. I mean,
that's good. Should be that way. All right. So AJ, you used to work at Cone's Deli, didn't you?
I did 6 months there.
What happened?
I was in a partnership and things just didn't work out. And really, it worked out for the best for me and my family because I was putting in 80, 90 hours a week, which was crazy.
Right. Ken and I were hoping we got a couple of pastrami sandwiches on rye with mustard, but that's okay. Don't worry about us. We don't need a pastrami sandwich on rye with mustard. We're good. AJ, seriously, we really couldn't wait to get you on the air. And if you ever get a wild hair or something you want to talk about, please call us and we'll let you talk as long as you want, okay?
Okay, appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
You bet. AJ
Okay,
Moll.
take care.
Take care of yourself there, AJ. Go to stlforisrael.com to find out more about this rally that's happening Sunday in Clayton, November 5th, 3 to 5 p.m. That's this
Sunday.
This Sunday.
Yeah.
So, people like him, Karen Cataline, I don't know.
I just don't understand when you see what happened to the hundreds of families of them invading their homes and doing what they did to the husbands and wives and kids. I don't understand how anyone can support that. I just don't get it.
Did you know the story about putting the kid in the oven?
Yeah.
You do that?
Yes, and I know there are some other stories that we can't even bring up because they're just so horrible.
I'll be honest, full disclosure, I've been trying to avoid all that.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if I can take it.
Yeah, well.
We're not going to talk to Karen about that.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a little much.
No,
but
I get it.
We have to wake up, see what's going on.
Yes.
Don't say nothing like 90 years ago because what happened 90 years ago is happening now right before your very eyes. Don't let it happen. All right, VA Kruta from the Daily Wire kicks off our next hour at 10:05. Excuse me, it's a cookie. It's the chocolate chip cookie bite. News is next on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Welcome home and wish all the brothers and sisters.
Whoosh.
Getting a new floor for your home can be intimidating and a little scary, but that's not the case when you go to Michael's Flooring Outlet. Katie here, and my mom and dad used Michael's and they had a great experience. They've been a locally owned and operated family business for more than 30 years. You want variety? Michael's has carpet, hardwood, laminate, ceramic tile, luxury vinyl, natural stone, and many other options. Shop in-store at one of their 3 locations in Creve Coeur, Dardine Prairie, or St. Peter's. Check out everything that Michael's has to offer at igotfloored.com.
Hi, I'm Jen Wallner.
And I'm Rodney Wallner with the Wallner Home Selling Team at Berkshire Hathaway.
Hey, Rodney, how do you sell your home for top dollar?
That's easy. Call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
What if I want a flexible commission rate?
Call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
When's the best time to sell your home?
Right now. Call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
For all your real estate needs, call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
That's 314-810-SOLD.
Attention. This is a public notice from the Social Security Disability Helpline. If you're one of the millions of Americans who are disabled and unable to work, you may be eligible for disability benefits from Social Security. Receiving benefits is your right. If you suffer from physical or mental disability, whether you're applying for the first time or you've already been denied, we can help. We'll evaluate your situation and deal with Social Security on your behalf. Best of all, there's no fee until you receive your benefits. Remember, we only get paid if you win your case. There are many reasons and conditions that may make you eligible for disability benefits. Many of them you may not be aware of. So if you're disabled and unable to work, call now to get started with your free, no-obligation consultation.
800-797-0711. 800-797-0711. 800-797-0711. That's 800-797-0711.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 101.9, 94.1, and always streaming at NewstalkSTL.com.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. General Motors and the United Auto Workers Union have reportedly reached a tentative contract agreement, a deal that could end the 6-week-old strike against Detroit's big 3 automakers. Word of the agreement comes from sources speaking with the AP. The deal set to follow a pattern with Ford last week and with Jeep maker Stellantis over the weekend. Intent on crushing the terrorists, Israeli troops and armor have been pushing deeper into northern and central Gaza And the BBC's Paul Adams says Israel also stepping up its airstrikes.
The air campaign will continue. They clearly feel that they have a great deal that they can still do from the air. We're not privy to any of this planning. We don't know, for example, what was being hit near the Al-Quds hospital in Gaza today that caused such panic. But that is part of an ongoing Israeli aerial effort up and down the Gaza Strip, which is maintaining the pressure, obviously, on Hamas, but also continuing to make life intolerable for more than 2 million civilians.
And more humanitarian aid has been trickling into Gaza. The new Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, not forgetting about the GOP's investigations of President Biden's business affairs.
Speaker Johnson is intensifying the investigations against President Biden, insisting the ongoing probes are not, quote, winding down. He told Fox News that Biden has repeatedly lied to the American people, including about his involvement with son Hunter Biden's shady overseas business dealings. Speaker Johnson is confident the evidence Republicans have unearthed are impeachable offenses. Prior to becoming Speaker, Johnson was involved in Biden's impeachment probe firsthand. Edwin Mora, Washington.
Wall Street, the Dow is up 301 points, the NASDAQ 99 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
In a world where financial landscapes can change rapidly, safeguarding your savings and retirement accounts is paramount. Direct Bullion USA is more than just the #1 rated gold bullion dealer in America. We're your trusted partner in navigating the uncertainties of hyperinflation and political upheaval around the world. Direct Bullion USA can provide you with the knowledge and resources to fortify your financial stability and protect what matters most. Call us now at 888-787-GOLD. Precious metals like gold and silver have been a safe haven investment for hundreds of years. Get started when you call Direct Bullion USA at 888-787-4653 and get your free gold investing starter kit today. All it takes is one call to 888-787-GOLD. Take control of your retirement and protect your future with Direct Bullion USA. Call 888-787-4653. That's 888-787-GOLD.
Israel had.
This hour of News Talk STL is brought to you by Rodney and Jen Wallner and the entire Wallner home selling team at Berkshire Hathaway. Call them today at 314-810-SOLD. 314-810-SOLD. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Sunshine returns today after a damp and cold weekend, but it's not going to help the temperatures. This is going to be the coldest stretch of weather we've seen so far this season. 44 for the high today. Tonight, a clear sky down to 28 in the city of St. Louis. A hard freeze area-wide, even colder in the outskirts. And then Halloween's high, still only in the mid-40s. By trick-or-treat time tomorrow night, boy, bundle those kids up. Temperatures will be slipping into the 30s, wind chills creeping down into the 20s. That's your forecast. I'm First Alert meteorologist Matt Chambers.
Vic Porcelli.
Come on, you're Italian. You understand.
Every day is a busy day all of a sudden.
You talking to me? You talking to me?
Tough and smart, and I love Italian, so, he's definitely Italian.
At least I have this show to come and talk about it and let some stuff up.
What kind of a show are you guys putting on here today?
The Vic Porcelli Show.
All right, welcome home. Welcome back. Another hour on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. I'm Vic Porcelli. That's the great Ken Williams over there. We will remember Chandler coming up at 10:25 today. And on this day in 2001, we'll go back to the World Series, which was between the Yankees and the Diamondbacks in New York, less than 2 months after 9/11.
Yeah.
Pretty cool story. But right now, VA Kruta. Oh, we got music for you.
The Daily Wire Report is brought to you by Rodney and Jen Wallner and the entire Wallner home selling team at Berkshire Hathaway. Call them today at 314-810-SOLD.
Our next guest is Virginia Kruta from the Daily Wire.
Do you understand?
They were ready to fight back with their hands.
Sweet Virginia, VA Kruta. Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
How are things at the Daily Wire?
All good, man.
Ben-
We're busy all the time.
Ben's on our show, on our station, 11
Yes, he
o'clock
is.
every night. It's
Yes,
kind of
he
cool
is.
to have him on there.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk a little military since you're a veteran and all.
Okay.
There were some airstrikes done by the United States. I learned recently had nothing to do with any of this Israel and Hamas thing.
Right.
So we're not directly involved. my question to you is, what does it take to get us directly involved, or do we get directly involved?
Well, technically, I mean, Israel is an ally, so we, ostensibly could be pulled in if they're under direct attack. But I think
They're
we're
not
going
under direct attack?
But assuming that it progresses, yes.
Got it.
But what I think is that Joe Biden is going to try to thread a very difficult needle, which anything involving Israel becomes a difficult needle to thread, because he is at odds with his own party if he supports Israel. And he is at odds with most of the country if he goes against them.
How stupid is this that it's become a Democrat-Republican thing, right?
Well,
the Democrats are against Israel.
That's what I can't figure out.
It's so stupid.
Well, it's actually pretty easy to figure out if you think about it, because what is the Free Palestine movement is driven by emotion, yes?
Uh-huh.
Because
and George Soros.
Because it's all these pictures of kids, the Hamas propaganda that shows you the kids that were hurt when Israel bombed us, but they leave out the part that we were using the kids as human shields at the time. They just show the picture. And who's susceptible to that? College students who don't understand the history of the region, don't understand the reality that this is how Hamas operates, etc. And so you see this emotional movement, and that's why they're so angry. That's why they're so willing to get sucked into this. Israel is bad, and they're so and the Democratic Party, as a rule, trades on emotional arguments, because that's how they get you to give up your tax money to pay for the people that need it. And there are people that need it. There are people that legitimately need it, and there are safety nets that are good to have.
Right.
So I'm not saying but if you look at the Democrat Party being driven primarily by emotional issues and vote buying schemes, of course they're going to be drawn into this on the wrong side. Because when you look at Israel, who says, you know what, we just like to exist, and sometimes that means we need to bomb. They don't understand the reality of living in a world where everyone on all sides wants you dead.
And that's what Israel is. Everybody on all sides.
And so they live in a world where words are violence, and actually punching somebody in the face is okay as long as they're conservative.
Right. That's so great. It's so true, and it's so right. All right, getting back to the military. So with everything we've seen, right, enlistment is at almost an all-time low.
Yeah.
We're an all-volunteer military. Those two right there don't work out having a strong military. Are we even ready or prepared for anything right now?
Well, I mean, that's something that you would better answered by somebody who has more direct knowledge than I do now. I mean, I've been out for 13 years, but the reality is that the American military has always met the moment, whether they were ready or not.
Yeah.
And when you're talking about the guys on the ground that are going to actually have to do the job, I have way more faith in them than I do with the woke leadership and people like Mark Milley, who just got out, and etc.
I'm so glad you said that.
But I will say this. I think that there is hope for some of them. I don't know if you saw this. There was a clip of John Kirby from last week laying into a reporter who suggested that maybe he was being too harsh on Israel. And he just flayed her wide open right in the middle of the briefing room.
Yeah.
Just said, no, I'm not being harsh on Israel. What was harsh was what Hamas did to Israel 3 weeks ago now. And he let her have it for about 2 minutes straight. And it was
good for him.
Beautiful.
So between the Afghanistan thing, when we left the billions of dollars worth of equipment there, all the military equipment we're sending to Ukraine, do we have enough military equipment to handle all this?
That is something that we are constantly adding new equipment. And so the idea that we would leave everything over there, do I think it was smart to leave anything over there? No. But the idea that we're leaving everything over there that we would need for another, I don't think that that's likely. I think that we do have reserves, and we do have equipment that can be moved around, but and they're always making more. They're always building more things, making upgrades and
Do you
things
think
like that.
they're using equipment from Afghanistan, the Taliban that we left there? Do you think it's any of that is going on?
I think the Taliban is using equipment that we
Yeah.
left over there, but I don't think that the Taliban is attacking Israel right now.
Do you think
They're probably, cheerleading it from afar, but I doubt that they're, I doubt that there's direct involvement there. But what's interesting is you said that the U.S. has made some airstrikes and that they were not related.
That's
to
what
the
somebody
thing.
told me. I'd assumed that they were, but apparently I was wrong.
Okay, but in the grand scheme of things, they are, because we're attacking Iran proxies. And what is Hamas if not an Iranian proxy?
Yeah.
What is Hezbollah if not an Iranian proxy?
Yeah.
So we are involved, but we're not involved. We're not in Israel with troops on the ground. We are not in Gaza with troops on the ground, but we are taking direct aim at the people who are funding and facilitating what's happening in Israel and Gaza.
Well, Virginia, I don't even think we should be talking about supplying anybody with anything right now. And I know that's probably an unpopular stance regarding Ukraine right now. But we are almost $34 trillion in debt. We don't have the money, and they're not giving anything for that border. That border is flooding with people coming over still. I mean, what are your thoughts on not giving any money to Ukraine at all?
Well, we've already talked about this. I think that if, and this is a big if any money is going to Ukraine ever again, that it should be, one, very, very strictly vetted. Like, where is it going? Who's getting it? What's it being used for? This has to be, we need a line item stuff on what they've already spent and where before we even consider giving them anything more.
Yeah.
That's number one. Number two, I agree with you. I think that if we start, because Iran has said a few years ago, the easiest way into the United States is the southern border.
Yeah. How many Hamas and Hezbollah are coming through that southern border?
They had, oh gosh, there was a number, there were numbers released a little while ago, and
403,000 other.
Yeah, and a number of them were from Iran, and there were some from China, and now there's an issue with Cuba helping Chinese nationals get through,
No surprise
get
there.
into Florida that way.
Right. No surprise there at all. So, okay, I know Battle of the Bulge, all that stuff, your wheelhouse, right?
Yep.
World War II, all that stuff. So, when you watch these documentaries on TV, don't you say to yourself, how did the world let this happen? And then you see what's going on now, and you say, oh, now I see how the world let this happen.
Well, it's always the same kind of cocktail, if you will. You have a group of people who are perpetrating the evil, right? Which happens basically just because evil is in the world. There will always be people doing evil as long as evil exists. There will always be people to do it because there's a temptation to do it. And maybe it's, so you always have the group of people who's perpetrating the evil. And then you always have a group of people who are maybe not willing to do the evil themselves, but kind of okay with it happening.
Yeah.
And then you have a group of people who doesn't know it's happening, and a group of people who refuse to believe that it's happening. And then you have the people who are willing to see that it's happening, say that it's happening, and stand up. And the problem is when that balance gets thrown off and the people who are standing up become too small a number, then you have what we have now.
I don't get it. All right. Any final thoughts on that? Because I want to move on to another topic. We good? You good?
No,
Okay.
we can move on.
Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House. Good?
I like him.
I do too.
So
would you have been okay with Byron Donalds too?
First impressions. I like Byron Donalds. I don't think that he would have the consensus that Mike Johnson does.
Okay, so go ahead. I'm sorry.
So I think that Johnson is better as a consensus candidate, and he'd be more able to get all the Republicans to do stuff, as opposed to Byron Donalds, who's a little bit more of a, they needed somebody who wasn't going to be a firebrand ever. And the fact that most of America didn't know who Mike Johnson was, I think is a good thing.
Yeah.
But he also seems to be a really good guy.
Yeah.
I mean, the left-wing media is terrified of him.
He's a regular guy. He's got a mortgage.
Yeah.
You know, he's not super rich.
But that doesn't diminish the attempt by the left to do what they do with every single candidate for anything and demonize them and call them racists, isms, ists, all that stuff. They've been on the attack with even Mike Johnson.
I know. Sorry, all I could think of is Ferris Bueller. In my opinion, isms are not good.
Yeah, that's right. Isms are not-
really.
they're not good.
Like, you're like the isms and the ists, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's Ferris Bueller. All right.
All right.
Sorry.
So, Ken, how long is that Cori Bush thing that you got? Is it a long cut? I want her to hear this. So Cori Bush.
Do I have to?
is
No, I'm just kidding.
paying
Cori
her-
Bush.
Okay.
Is it long?
It's 64 seconds.
Okay, that's fine. So Cori Bush is paying her husband for nothing, basically. It's like a mafia no-show job, right? He's getting all this money for security or whatever. And she was
So
stopped.
as long as he goes where she's going, he's technically doing his job, right?
Kinda, yeah.
Okay.
But he's not really doing anything. So somebody accosted
Nobody
the two of them
attacks her.
over the weekend.
I do have a question for you. Are you doing what's your role in the campaign right now?
I don't have a role in the campaign, man.
You don't have a role at all?
My wife just.
Because they were reporting you had wages on the campaign for security, and then it was a general wage. I was just wondering what you've been doing on the campaign.
Yeah, I mean, you can Google what it is. You can also Google what happened with the ethics report, how it came back 5-0, that it was all completely above board.
So you're not
So
doing
that's
any
the
more
question.
work with the campaign, her campaign?
I'm doing work with the campaign. Obviously, I'm still employed, right?
Yeah, you're still a part of it?
Am I still employed with it?
Yeah.
Yes. So obviously, I'm doing work with it. So I mean, what's the whole? This got you like?
No,
I'm not a politician, man. So ask me a question, man to man, and I'll answer. So what's your question?
That was it about the
I'm
campaign.
doing the campaign. I'm
And-
doing security with the campaign.
Okay. Gotcha.
Have a good night, man. Be
Thank
safe.
you.
Yeah, nothing fishy there.
So he went from not knowing what his job was to saying that he was getting paid for a job that he didn't remember 60 seconds earlier.
Exactly. And I think that's huge, Vic.
It is.
Because he said, oh, no, I'm not even involved in it. Well, you're getting paid. Oh, wait, ask me a question.
She's probably pinching him, to make sure.
She's in the car.
You say, right. She's probably pinching. Oh, no, say your security because I'm
Oh my
paying you for a
God.
no-show job.
That's,
God.
I mean, are we really shocked though?
No, but still doesn't make it okay.
No, I'm just like, but I mean, the reports came out that he was getting paid for security, that he got paid like $100,000 or something over the course of a year. Like 2 years ago, reports came out. I think we already knew this was happening, and the fact that nobody did. And of course, he clearly knows about the controversy because he's talking about how the decision came back 5-0, that it was all above board. Well, you just told us that it
Right.
wasn't.
Just leaked it yourself. Yep.
Like,
So Cori Bush, Ilhan Omar, AOC, Rashida Tlaib, are they doing anything that you think requires punishment for the things that they've said, especially in the last 2 weeks?
here's the thing. I think that they are absolutely saying things that should require them to lose their next election.
It's a long
The
time.
problem is that the electorate doesn't see it that way because they knew who Rashida Tlaib was when they elected her. They knew who AOC was when they elected her. They knew who Ilhan Omar was when they elected. They are people that are coming out of areas where the sentiment follows. I mean, Rashida Tlaib in her office had a sticky note that said Palestine slapped over Israel on the map. They knew who she was.
Yeah.
We knew, especially before her last election. Now, what I think is interesting is that Palestine as a state has never existed. Like it just wasn't there. There have been there was the British mandate before it became the state of Israel, and there were other countries had control of it. The Ottoman Empire had control of it for a while. So the Turks and Egypt had control of the area for a while, but there was never an official state of Palestine. And so these people are talking about, well, Palestinian, blah, 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 blah. No,
Uninformed.
no, this is not a thing that existed. I keep thinking of Mean Girls and stop trying to make Palestine happen. It's not gonna happen.
That's funny.
Like, no.
Yeah. Fletcher or something.
Fetch.
Fetch. That's it.
But yeah, it's just the idea that and then you look at what's going on college campuses, and you look at what's the anti-Semitism and the Russian mobs targeting a flight from Israel and chasing down Jews in the street in Russia. Like, here's the thing: if they can't go to Russia, they can't. Not that they would want to necessarily, but they can't go to Russia. Think about other places where the anti-Semitism is on the rise. Look at the rallies they had in London. They probably shouldn't go there. You know, no college campus in the United States is safe at this point. Where do you want them to go? This is why a state of Israel exists. So that because there are so many people out there who are willing to kill them just for being there.
It's happening in Germany. Yeah. I mean, London has fallen as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, yeah.
They are completely dominating the streets.
It looked like
there.
more people were at that protest than population of London.
Yes.
So, I mean, I hate to make dramatic comparisons that probably aren't true, but comparing what happened in Russia and what's happening in Germany, and it's almost Kristallnacht like.
No, it is.
Okay,
and the idea that at least when it came out publicly what the Nazis were doing to the Jews, even people who were vaguely anti-Semitic or unaware of the situation or just didn't care one way or the other, they said, wait a minute, I think this is wrong to round them up and kill them. I think this is a problem. Even people, and so that you saw that after World War II, that and that's why they designated the state of Israel and said, look, we need to protect these people. You don't see that now. You see some people, you go to the United States where you think, okay, well, the United States is an ally of Israel. So obviously most of the people there should believe one way or another. Look at what's happening at the campus at Cornell. Yeah. And I was telling Susie this morning, my dad got his graduate degree from Cornell, and he would be spinning in his grave.
Kids are afraid to leave their dorms.
Yeah.
All right, Virginia, I'm sorry. I didn't leave you Chandler time. I apologize.
It's okay. We're going to miss Chandler. And I tell you what, Matt Albee from Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip. so much.
You just
so
calm
much
your
better.
jets there.
So much better.
All right. How do we find you and the Daily Wire?
At Real Daily Wire, at VA Kruta on X, and dailywire.com.
What's X?
I know, right?
Still Riverport.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
VA, thanks. Good to see you. All right. Hey,
Thanks,
when we
Virginia.
get back, we're going to remember Chandler, Matthew Perry, and we're going to start it off with the best, funniest line of the entire series, and it was spoken by Chandler. That's next on 1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Welcome home.
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. The Vic Porcelli Show.
Democracy is not perfect. It's never been good.
Happy birthday, dear Valerie. Happy birthday to you.
On News Talk STL.
Okay, listen. Caring for somebody in a long-term care situation can be incredibly emotionally stressful. Of course, it's an emotional time, and you want to make sure that your loved ones get the care that they deserve. So it's important to understand the financial options that you have, and you do have, and your loved ones have. So here's the good news, that you're not alone. First of all, there's always somebody to help, and that person is Chris Cooper with Serenity Wealth Management. He will guide you through tax-efficient solutions for asset protection. He's the triple threat, CPA, financial strategist, and long-term care planning specialist, all in one. Okay, so he takes the knowledge that he has from those three fields, puts them together, and gives you tax-efficient strategies to keep your money, you know, the lifestyle that you've saved your whole life for God's sakes, right? So get in touch with Chris. Matter of fact, he's got a book that he'd like to give you for free. It's called The CPA's Guide to Tax-Free Strategies for Long-Term Care, and you can get it right now for free at SerenityLTC.com. That's SerenityLTC.com. Serenity now, Chris Cooper.
Investment advisory services offered through OWLLFI LLC, a SEC registered investment advisor. This is a paid endorsement. Insurance and education services offered through Serenity Wealth Management.
Serenity now!
I really like all the things you're saying.
News, analysis, opinion.
Thank you very, very much.
News Talk STL.
The Herzog Foundation is the vision of its founder, Stanley Herzog, and it exists to promote and accelerate the development of quality Christ-centered K-12 education.
Hi, this is Daryl Jones, president of the Herzog Foundation. We have an exciting new training opportunity available for public school and Christian school teachers. The Herzog Foundation Institute has partnered with the Bill of Rights Institute to offer 4 training events in 4 Missouri cities this year. These day-long professional development opportunities are best suited for middle and high school civics, government, U.S. history, and social studies teachers. Middle and high school teachers have a unique opportunity to strengthen civic knowledge and values for the next generation. We want to help teachers seize this opportunity.
Visit herzogfoundation.com/events to learn more and register for a Bill of Rights Institute training event near you. herzogfoundation.com/events. herzogfoundation.com/events.
Hey, Columbo here for Rockwood Charcoal. I love to grill and definitely prefer using charcoal over gas. And ever since I met Jonathan Heslop and he introduced me to his product, Rockwood Lump Charcoal, I can't use anything else. Rockwood is made from 100% pure Missouri oak and hickory and has been the nationally highest consumer-ranked charcoal for several years. So you're cooking with the best and supporting local industry and a local business all at once. Doesn't get any better than that. There's over 100 area Rockwood retailers. Find yours at rockwoodcharcoal.com.
I'm Susie Moore, and this is More to the Point. There's nothing quite like a class reunion to evoke nostalgia and prompt reflection. This past weekend, I attended my 30-year law school reunion in Chicago. I'm not quite sure how 3 decades managed to whiz by so quickly. In my mind, my time at Northwestern was just a handful of years ago. While some memories of those days have faded with time, others are clear as day. Most of them good ones, though certainly not all. The long drive home on a gray, gloomy Sunday provided time to ponder what 55-year-old me would tell 22 to 24-year-old me if I had the opportunity. The answer is plenty. It's amazing the clarity and perspective hindsight can provide. There are definitely career and life choices I'd suggest reconsidering, though, of course, had I not followed the paths I did, I'd not be the person I am today. It occurred to me, though, that it'd be a shame to wait another 30 years, until I'm 85, to have a good talk with 55-year-old me. It's so easy to get caught up in plodding through the day-to-day that we forget to look up and assess the path or paths ahead. Maybe not with the benefit of hindsight, but certainly with the benefit of the lessons life has taught so far. Probably not a bad thing to do every so often.
Susie Moore is Deputy Managing Editor for RedState.com. For more to the point and everything Susie Moore, log on to RedState.com. Follow Susie on Twitter at SmoozyQ and keep listening to 1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Columbo and Katie.
New York City is at it again and now steering migrants to a new reticketing center where they can secure a free one-way plane ticket to anywhere in the world. We'll talk about it on Monday on Columbo and Katie.
Weekdays at 2 on News Talk STL.
Whoosh.
Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. You're listening to the Vic Porcelli Show.
No, you're very good. You are very good.
On News Talk STL.
I found out who the father is.
Oh, God. It's Shovelly Joe, isn't it?
No, it's not.
How do you know?
Well, it turns out that Erica didn't pay much attention in sex ed class because the thing she did with that prison guy, it'd be pretty hard to make a baby that way.
Oh, God. What was it? The thing we hardly ever do or the thing we never do?
The thing we never do.
Shovelly Joe.
Oh, man. Matthew Perry as Chandler Bing right there. And I think that in the entire 10 years of Friends was the funniest line ever. Is it the thing we hardly ever do or the thing we never do? Right? So if you didn't get it just by him saying that, she says the thing we never do. And he goes, Shovelly Joe, way to go. You know what I mean?
Joe.
If you're a guy, you totally get that.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, how you doing?
Oh, Joey, I'm sorry. You know, Matthew Perry, first of all, do you know, Ken, I didn't know this until, I never try to to be the person that knows it all because I clearly don't know anything, much less everything. Did you know that Keith Morrison from Dateline, you know him? When he says, Pam Hupp. But did he? He is Matthew Perry's stepfather.
Yeah, the night that this happened, I saw a video of him walking up to the...
Before that, did you know that Keith Morrison?
Not at all.
Me
No,
neither.
No, not at all.
And his real father is an actor, I think, too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Not that Keith Morrison is. I'm sorry. I meant to because Matthew Perry's an actor. But anyway, very, very sad. And, you know, he had a drug problem and an alcohol problem that you watched. You watched it. When he was doing Friends, he said he doesn't even remember doing some episodes because he was so whacked out.
Yeah, he also said it in an interview later on after he was recovered and everything and helping other people.
Love that.
Number one, he wants to be remembered by that.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to be remembered as not just as friends. That shouldn't be his legacy. He says, mine would make me feel best if I was remembered for helping people. And I think he helped a lot of people. But also, he said that there were times, the reason why he didn't watch Friends is he knew what he was on when he was on certain episodes. Like he'd watch an episode and be like, I was drinking, I was doing coke, I was drinking, I was doing opiates. You know, I mean, he knew exactly what was going on at that moment.
So sad. And look what it did to him. He can't even go back and watch himself.
Yeah.
On one of the greatest shows ever. I mean, Friends really was a great show.
Yeah, unfortunately for me personally, I was on the river and I was doing overnights during just about that whole time. So I really didn't get to see Friends episodes ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're rewatching them now, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That and Seinfeld.
Yeah.
I'm watching all those.
Nickelodeon every night. When Jesse and I get sick of the news, which after a while, don't you just get sick of it? You can't watch anymore?
Oh,
Same stuff
Yeah,
over
I
and
have
over?
to. Yeah.
So we turn it off and we put on Nickelodeon runs Friends every night. And I don't know if they do it anymore, but they used to run them in order, you know?
Oh, okay.
So you knew what was coming next. And my favorite episode, which I think is the best episode, everybody's got their own opinion, is the one from what we just heard. Is it the thing we hardly ever do, the thing we never do, is from the episode, the one where Joey speaks French. Did you ever see that? When he
Yeah.
Phoebe tries to teach him how to speak French. Come on, French it up. Okay. Je m'appelle Claude. You try it. Je m'appelle Blue. He thinks he's speaking French. And then Erica with the baby that Chandler and Monica are going to adopt. And she says, yeah, what they did, you can't get pregnant. And he says, well, is it the thing we hardly ever do or the thing we never do? All right, Ken, who are we talking to?
We got Dawn.
Dawn?
Dawn.
Hey, Dawn. Of course, today, the most special day to welcome a female listener to the show. Ken, welcome her to the show.
Hey, how you doing?
How you doing, Dawn?
I'm doing great. I just wanted to let you know, I believe Matthew Perry's actual father, I don't remember his actual name, but he was in an episode of Friends. It was, I think, where Rachel was seducing or trying to seduce Joshua.
Uh-huh.
And the parents showed up at Joshua's, where he was living. And Matthew Perry was, I guess, not Matthew Perry, Matthew Perry's dad was Joshua's father or stepfather.
I
or
think
whatever.
I did see that over the weekend. Somebody
Yeah,
wrote that. I don't-
I just thought I'd share that.
Yeah. And Keith Morrison is his stepfather. I mean, that's just crazy, isn't it?
Yes, that I did not know.
Pam Hupp from the small town of O'Fallon, Missouri. All right, Dawn, thank you so much for calling. We appreciate you very much.
Thank you. Bye.
John Bennett Perry.
That's his father?
It's his father's real name, yeah.
So, Chandler, some of the reactions on the internet, of course, some are very poignant and very touching. Some are very mean. Did you see any of the mean ones?
No. I just wanted to stay in a certain plane of
Well, it's hard
existence.
to,
with him. I know.
you know, when you're just scrolling and it just comes up.
I know.
You know?
No, I didn't see any of the bad ones.
There were some mean ones. There really were. Should I mention them or should I say them?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean, only
You're
because
the boss,
I
man.
just, you know.
Just don't be mean, I guess.
Yeah,
you know?
no kidding.
Give the guy. But
Why? Why would somebody be mean?
Right. And there's a difference, I think, because what we played right there was funny, right? What have I told you when I die? What have I told you?
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that either. I mean, you said that you want to laugh.
Right.
Yeah.
Jokes.
Everybody,
Laugh.
Vic died.
Vic was a funny guy.
He was a funny guy.
He was fat. Let's make fun of him, you know? So playing that, what we played going into there, I think was appropriate because Matthew Perry and Chandler was so funny, you know?
Oh, and I don't even think he realizes how he changed lives just by the humor alone.
Yeah. One of the really touching memes was a picture of Joey. Remember the two recliners? I don't know. Have you?
Oh yeah,
okay.
I'm
the
yeah,
two recliners.
I'm right there. Yeah,
right. And the picture has Joey looking over at the other recliner, and Chandler's not in it. And the caption is the one where we all lost a friend, because all the episodes were the one where Joey speaks French, the one with all the poker, the one when they're on a break, you know, which I thought was brilliant, don't you?
Oh yeah,
because anytime you talk about, did you ever see the one when
went? Yeah.
So they actually named the episodes the one with this and the one with that. So, you know, drug addiction is something we all have to look at and be aware, because don't you wonder, you know, the other cast members, did they know that he was addicted to drugs, or did he hide it that well? Because I got to tell you, I know exactly the episodes when he was really messed up, when he's really skinny and his hair was really short. Those are the worst times of his addiction.
On its face, Vic, I would say, yeah, they should have known. But at the same time, I knew somebody, and I'm not going to say names here, but this guy was drinking almost a fifth of alcohol every day. And the only time we ever knew it, he was a functional alcoholic. He didn't slur his words, but you know what? One day he came in and he was yellow because his liver was failing. And it was like, dude, what happened? And come to find out, he'd been on a fifth of alcohol every day for I don't know how long.
Ken, my friend Sal.
Yeah. Yeah, you have that experience.
Terrible.
Did you know?
Yes, I knew.
Okay.
Well, I mean, you know, so what did I do? I didn't do anything.
But what could you do, Vic?
I don't know. I don't know.
See, that's the part. I have a family member who's big at heroin, fentanyl. Okay. What do? You can't take them, put them in a room. You can only try and sit with them, help them, and tell them. But at some point, after 15 years, you got to let go.
Yeah. I've had enough. How about you?
Yeah, me too.
All right, we're going to miss you, Chandler, for sure. It's the one where we all lost a friend. And the one episode when Joey leaves the apartment and leaves Chandler to live in the apartment, they say goodbye, Joey leaves, and then 2 seconds later, he comes back in and he just hugs Chandler.
Yeah.
You know, that hug has become a meme, too. All right, we're going to miss Matthew Perry for sure. When we come back, less than 2 months after 9/11, after New York City was attacked by terrorists, the World Series went on, right? Baseball.
Yeah.
Right. It was a very moving night at Yankee Stadium. We'll let you relive that as soon as we get back on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Welcome home.
For podcast articles and more, find us on NewstalkSTL.com. The Vic Porcelli Show.
My son has not made money in terms of this thing about, what are you talking about? China.
Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL. St. Louis's new choice for conservative talk.
Everybody has the right to have their opinion and voice their opinion.
Live and local.
I always approach it from this standpoint. Leftist malfeasance is presupposed.
This is News Talk STL.
Are you looking for an awesome space to have an incredible event this season, this holiday season, or just for any reason whatsoever? Your one-stop shop is View 17. That's VUE17.com, VUE17.com. Ultra modern media conference and event center. You can have just about any event you can dream up there. It's on the 17th floor in the heart of the county of St. Louis. Check them out today. You will be impressed, and so will your guests. VUE17.com, View17.com.
Columbo and Katie.
A CNN poll that was just released this week shows that 49% of Americans flagged Joe Biden's age as their biggest concern.
I believe that these instances are more sounding the alarm on the Democrat side to step up to the plate and run against Biden. Someone needs to run against him from our party so that we understand you exist and we understand the battle.
Tony Columbo, Katie Fitzpatrick. Weekdays at 2 on News Talk STL.
Hey, listen. Are you a 50-year-old person looking for term life insurance? Then you need to talk to Bob.
Bob specializes in helping people find $1 million or more of term life insurance for a couple of $100 a month. Look, you need to know there's a price war in the term life insurance business, and you may be paying too much. Call Bob, and he'll shop and see how much money he can save you. Look, this could be the last term life insurance policy you ever have. Your rates are guaranteed for the next 20 years. That's right, guaranteed level rates for the next 20 years. And if you're a smoker or your health is not perfect, Bob has great rates for you too. So for $1 million of term life insurance coverage for a couple of $100 a month, call Bob right now. 800-989-1415. 800-989-1415. 800-989-1415. That's 800-989-1415. Paid for by Term Direct.
Fox News commentary.
The UFC does a deal with Bud Light? Dana White, what on earth are you thinking? I'm Tommy Lahren. More next.
Hi, I'm Martha Stewart. Every year, more than 4 million pets enter shelters here in the United States. My friends at American Humane have been helping animals since 1877. The goal is to ensure that pets have a safe shelter, especially during natural disasters. Adopting a shelter pet allows shelters to help more animals awaiting care. Please consider adopting today and take some time to learn more about American Humane's other work at americanhumane.org.
Since the brand partnership debacle with trans influencer Dylan Mulvaney, Bud Light has been hemorrhaging money and customers. But apparently the UFC and its CEO, Dana White, didn't get that angry memo because the two companies have worked up a multi-year marketing sponsorship. Starting in January, Anheuser-Busch will become the exclusive official beer partner of UFC, and Bud Light will be the official beer of the championship. And UFC fans, well, many aren't happy. Dana White has seen significant backlash to this decision since it was announced. Why would UFC attach itself to the single most divisive alcohol brand on the planet? Makes me wonder if the UFC is as oblivious about its customer base as Bud Light. The UFC can't save Bud Light, and Bud Light certainly won't bolster the UFC at this point. If we ever see Dylan Mulvaney at a fight, well, Dana White might as well kiss his empire goodbye. I'm Tommy Lahren, and you can watch my show Tommy Lahren is Fearless at Outkick.com.
Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. You're listening to the Missouri Broadcasters Association Air Talent of the Year. This is the Vic Porcelli Show.
Hi, welcome back. Welcome home to 1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL. I'm Vic Porcelli, Ken Williams over there. Coming up, our debate coverage for the third Republican debate. Boy, the field is dwindling. There's going to be less and less people up there, I hope, right?
Yeah.
Larry Elder, who never got a chance to even be at a debate,
right,
which really made me mad, has dropped out and now has endorsed Donald Trump.
Well, he was a white supremacist, though.
He is the black face of white supremacy. You are absolutely right. So November 8th is the next debate. We will have a watch party at Westport Plaza, and that happens at 6 o'clock when the doors open. The program starts at 6:30, and then the debate time is 7 to 9. Explain what's going to go on there. They're going to watch our stream at the thing. Is that what it is?
Yeah, after the debate, we're going to immediately put up the stream on this big screen. And
so we're going to be on the big screen?
It'll be interactive even.
Right. Yeah. Love it. So that's November 8th. We'll give you more information as we get closer to that. Okay. So 9/11, 2001, terrorists attack America. We know the plane that didn't make it to, we think the Capitol building crashed in Shanksville. One hit the Pentagon, and two planes, of course, hit the World Trade Center in New York City. After that happened, we had to decide, I guess, Ken, when do we get back to normal things, right?
Yeah.
And quick story, we were at the river at the time. You and I worked at that radio station, the river, which you're wearing river apparel right now.
Yeah.
I burned all mine. I can't believe you still have that.
I just found a tub. I told you I was cleaning things up in the basement. I found a tub of nothing but gear.
Yeah. So, I forgot what I was going to say. God,
No,
so bad.
it was trying to get things back to normal.
So on the air, I said, when do we get back to baseball? Right?
Yeah.
Because baseball didn't stop ever. You know?
Yeah.
Not for World War I, not for World War II. you know, and 9/11 baseball stopped. And I said, we have to get back to baseball because if we don't get back to the American way of life, they win, right?
Do you think in a lot of cases, Vic, that I'm reliving that moment, that we just didn't feel like we should get back to normal at some point?
I do. But I think baseball is something that should go on, Ray, through the
Yes,
trends of time. Has
totally
been
agree.
Baseball. And I said it on the air. And then the day after I said it, somebody interviewed Mark McGuire, who was on the Cardinals at the time. Was anybody that thinks we should be playing baseball right now is an idiot. I was like, okay, thanks, Mark. Thanks for throwing me into the bus.
Right.
You know. And then shortly after that, when baseball did resume, Jack Buck, who I think is a little bit smarter than Mark McGuire,
Yeah.
is on the field at Busch Stadium, and he says, people are asking, should we be here? I say yes. So thank you, Jack. And bite me, Mark McGuire. So we did. We got back to baseball. The World Series happened. It was a little bit later. Everything got pushed back, of course. And on this day in 2001, October 30th, 2001, Yankee Stadium, World Series, and George Bush, the president, is going to throw out the first ball. So one of the umpires was interviewed. He said he walked into the umpire's room, and there were some guys in there, some guys he never saw before, and they were Secret Service guys. And the Secret Service guy says, I'm going to be out on the field with you. They dressed the Secret Service guy up as an umpire. So when you look at that, the line of umpires, one of those is a Secret Service agent, not an umpire.
Well,
Isn't that great?
Yeah, it's great.
So George Bush is going to throw out the first pitch in the city that was attacked less than 2 months prior. And he tells this story about warming up, getting ready, and a interaction he had with the great Derek Jeter.
You know, I wanted to make sure that if I was going to throw out the ball, I was able to do so with a little zip. You know, I didn't want people to think that their president was incapable of finding the plate. So I go underneath the Yankee Stadium, in the bowels of Yankee Stadium, and there's a hitting cage there.
And he's wearing his bulletproof jacket, and he's getting his arm loose. And Derek Jeter comes up to him.
Hey, Prez, how are you doing? Good, Derek. That's good luck tonight. Think you, sir. He said, say, I hear you're throwing out the first ball.
So I just asked him if he was going to be throwing the first pitch from the mound or in front of the mound.
The president said, I think I'll throw from the base of the mound. Jeter said, I wouldn't do that if I were you, Mr. President.
And I told him, you better throw it from the mound, otherwise you're going to get booed. I said, this is Yankee Stadium.
I said, okay, I'll throw from the mound. And he's walking out, and he looks over his shoulder, and he says, don't bounce it. They'll boo you. And so the pressure, all of a sudden, I mean, I'm sitting there kind of fairly relaxed and feeling fairly loose, and the great Derek Jeter, don't bounce it. They'll boo you. And all of a sudden, the pressure mounted.
So he's in New York City, right? The greatest city of the world that just was attacked 2 months earlier. World Series. First of all, how fairy tale was it the Yankees made it to the World Series?
Yeah.
Right. Now, keep in mind, this is when we all loved George Bush.
Yeah.
We've learned so much more about him since, okay? But we didn't know that then.
No.
So I think it's okay to celebrate what he did that night.
Sure.
To show
I
America,
voted for him.
I did too. To show America that we are strong, that we're not afraid, and your leader is going to walk out onto a mound at a baseball stadium in New York City and throw out the first pitch.
Right.
I thought it was a very special moment. Now, Ken, you and I have talked, or at least I have talked, about my love for the longtime announcer at Yankee Stadium, Bob Shepard.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Who always said, now batting, number 2, Derek Jeter, number 2. And he announced the President of the United States.
For tonight's ceremonial first pitch, and please welcome the President of the United States.
That's exactly, was Bob Shepard introducing the President of the United States in the city that was attacked, who was going to throw out the first pitch.
And it wasn't just for that city, because I watched that. I remember it. And I was so heartened by everything that was going on in that moment.
So he's waving to the crowd. He's got his bulletproof vest on from the rubber. He throws a perfect strike, right? Crowd goes nuts. There it is. Yankee Stadium, Oregon player plays, and Bob Shepard says,
Thank you, Mr. President.
you kidding me?
You love that, don't you?
I do.
The echo.
Bob Shepard, he also taught I think, journalism or public speaking or something at St. John's University, and I should listen to him because he says, if you think you're talking too slow, you're not talking slow enough. Because the era that we're in now, here come your Chicago Bulls, right?
Right.
The spotlights and all that crap. And Bob was always, welcome to Yankee Stadium. Ken, I got to tell you, walking into Yankee Stadium as a kid and hearing that voice was pretty moving,
Yeah, I can't even imagine. I mean, I remember the first time I ever went to Busch Stadium as a kid.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, before 1976, when you went to a Yankee game, you looked at the plate and you said, my God, Babe Ruth dug in at that plate.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
At that plate. He dug right in. You could see the ghost of him doing it. So I thought it was a big moment for the United States. George Bush threw the strike from the rubber, didn't bounce it.
Yeah.
And the crowd went nuts. And I think that's exactly what New Yorkers for sure needed, and us as a country needed.
I think at the time we did.
Yeah.
As a nation, they broadcast that, and I think everybody got what they should have gotten out of it.
Yeah. The only way to make it a bigger fairy tale would have been if the Yankees had won the World Series, but they did not.
Right.
They lost to the Arizona Diamondbacks, who are in the World Series right now as we speak.
Yeah, they are. And I think, were they tied up now, or they? I haven't been following. That's one of the tragedies of recent years is that I haven't. I lived baseball for most of my adolescent life.
You and me both, baby.
And I can't believe that I can say this, but I don't even know the names of the players on the Cardinals team when they were finishing up this year.
I don't know much about these playoffs. I don't know much about this season. I'm kind of doing my own little silent one guy boycott.
Yeah.
Because I don't like the rule changes. I don't.
It's the rule changes, and it's their whole that whole wokeism thing is really.
I think that's gone now. I think the wokeism thing is kind of gone now because everybody stands up for the national anthem more or less. But it's the rule changes to me that, even the instant replay of all sports to ruin with instant replay. Yeah. Baseball was not the one you should have done it with.
No.
I had this argument with somebody. I said, it was human. Baseball was human for so many years. If there was a mistake, there was a mistake. And he said to me, so if they get the call wrong, you're okay with that? I said, yeah, I'm okay with that.
As a kid, I played every day, and that was an acceptable thing for even a kid. It's like, no, he was safe. No, he was out. No, yeah. he really was safe. No, he's out, and you had to accept it.
And some of the things that didn't happen on the field, part of the game, a manager coming out and arguing with the umpire, because there was no way to change his mind. The call was the call, and there was no way to change it. Billy Martin kicking dirt on the umpire. Dick Williams from Earl Weaver from the Orioles, manager of the Orioles, actually picked up third base and threw it out in the left field because he was so mad. That you don't throw 4 pitches anymore to walk a guy. You just say, okay, you can have first base. So many things can happen in those 4 pitches and have happened throughout the years.
Yep.
And now this 2-2 count thing during extra innings.
I don't know what that is.
I don't know if that's how I might be wrong on that. But a guy starts at second base without having to get on second base just to shorten the games. Really?
That's no.
Yeah. But football games go on forever. Super Bowl's a day and a half.
It is.
Right. But nope, not baseball. We got to bow to whatever we bow to there. All right. Ken, why don't we did I get everything in there I wanted to get in there?
I think so.
Bob Shepard?
Yeah.
Derek Jeter. Number 2. Okay. All right. Good morning, Vic Heads. America, continue to pray for our country and for Israel. Yes, please do so. Welcome, my Vic Head brothers and sisters. Hope you all had a great weekend. We hope to make it a great week. Thank you so much. Good morning, Vic, Ken, and everyone. Can we now make fun of Obama's girly pitch? What a wimp.
Oh, yeah.
How about Fauci's first pitch?
Oh,
if there's anybody who threw like a girl,
oh my goodness,
it was Fauci.
I thought he hit somebody he couldn't even get it to the stands. Didn't Fauci's go like 20 feet to the left or something?
And only 20 feet.
And only 20 feet.
Right. All of those 20 feet were towards first base. But getting back to Friends, when they were Joey and Chandler were trying to get into Monica's secret closet. She had stuff in there that she didn't want them to see. And Joey says, do you have a bobby pin? And Chandler says, why would I have a bobby pin? I'm not a girl. And Joey goes, well, you throw like one. We're going to miss Chandler for sure.
Yeah.
All right. So, hey, Vic, leave the mic and take the cannoli. What does that mean?
I don't know.
Nothing.
It's cute.
Yeah. Well, what does it mean?
Oh, I don't know.
Nothing you read in the Post-Dispatch is fair and balanced. We know that.
Yeah.
4,000 years, and they'll fight for the next 4,000 years. Didn't my father say that?
Your dad, I think, said something about that.
He said it in 1967. Let's define Joe. Oh, I better read this
Yeah.
first. I think it's okay. Joe and Kamala, when it comes to word salad, Joe speaks like a basic side salad at a regular restaurant. Not much there. The dressing doesn't help, and you really often wish you got the... And then it stops there.
Mm-hmm.
Russia has a lot of Muslims in its population. CBS Sunday Morning ran a piece yesterday that only showed the plight of the Gazans being hurt or killed. Nothing on the Israelis.
Seen a lot of that now.
Done with that show now. Well, yeah, I've been done with that show for a long time. Ever since what's her name took over. The girl that's doing it now. God, I can't stand
Yeah.
her. She makes everything about herself.
Yep.
She used to be the Today Show host. I can't think of her name. Why hasn't Spielberg said anything about the horrors of what Hamas has done? He's right.
Yeah.
Where's Steven Spielberg?
Where's Hollywood?
The liberal Jew, get on the air and say something. God, brilliant, Duke. I think he's scared and only wants to make money on the movies about it. This after it's all done.
That's
You're probably
most likely true. Yeah.
So we had AJ Moll on this morning. Really liked that guy. Really couldn't wait to get him on. He's a local Jewish guy who used to work at Cone's Deli, and that blew our pastrami sandwiches on rye with mustard. That's okay.
I want to say this one. Friendly.
Wait.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. All right, go ahead.
Thunder Stealer. So we asked him, do you have a gun? Because he said he's always supported the Second Amendment, but never had a gun. That's fair.
Right.
Now he's thinking about getting a gun. And Gratchall says, AJ, buy the gun now. If you wait until you need it, it'll be too late. What are we going to say, Ken? Quick.
No, I was going to say that somebody put on here, George Bush's trash. Well, that's today. That wasn't back then when we,
Right.
We thought that we didn't think he was like he is now.
I don't know about this guy. USA is trash too. Attacked in quotes. Anyway, hey, thanks for having the record player on at night. Listen to us this morning.
Make sure you have the record player on at night.
Dan Bongino's next on News Talk STL. See you tomorrow.
Is your family prepared for the financial burden of losing a loved one?
Are you aware of the cost of a funeral?
Benjamin Schaefer with Senior Memorial could help you qualify for lifetime permanent final expense insurance coverage with no medical exam required.
Just answer a few health questions, and once accepted, your rates never increase.
Do you have diabetes, high blood pressure?
Have you had a heart attack, a stroke?
No problem.
Benjamin Schaefer with Senior Memorial can help protect your legacy.
Call or text 314-866-8886. That's 314-866-8886.
To learn more about permanent lifetime final expense insurance coverage.
Benjamin Schaefer with Senior Memorial could help you qualify for immediate coverage by answering just a few health questions.
Call or text 314-866-8886 or learn more at memorialplans.com. That's memorialplans.com.
Policies underwritten by Senior Life Insurance Company. Not available in all states.
I'm Dr. TJ, owner of the Institute of Natural Health, co-owner of Optimal Nutraceuticals, and the host of Wellness 101. Wellness 101 is designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you common sense, science-based information regarding health and wellness. On the show, we discuss topics like thyroid health, gut health, hormone optimization, and many others. Our show airs Saturdays at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and Sundays at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. right here on News Talk STL. For more information, visit us at inhstl.com. That's inhstl.com.
I'm Missouri Lieutenant Governor Mike Kehoe. Buy Missouri promotes hundreds of businesses that manufacture quality products right here in Missouri. Visit buymissouri.net to find Missouri-made products, manufacturers, and retailers near you. Shop local every day, but especially during Buy Missouri Week, October 14th through the 21st. Together, we can support Missouri businesses and grow our state's economy. Visit buymissouri.net and follow @BuyMissouri on social media for more information.
Brought to you by the Missouri Lieutenant Governor's Office.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at NewstalkSTL.com.
Breaking news this hour at townhall.com. I'm Bob Agnew in Washington.
Donald Trump continues to hold a sizable lead over his GOP presidential rivals in Iowa.
With January's first-in-the-nation caucuses less than 3 months away, Trump has a commanding lead in Iowa, according to the NBC News Des Moines Register poll. Among likely Iowa caucus goers, Trump has 43% support. Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis are tied for second at 16%. Haley jumped higher since the August poll, while DeSantis slipped. All the other GOP candidates are in single digits. Greg Clugston, Washington.
General Motors and the United Auto Workers Union have reached a tentative contract agreement, and that could end a 6-week-old strike against Detroit car makers. 3 people briefed on the deal said that the agreement follows a pattern set with Ford last week and Jeep maker Stellantis. It took place over the weekend. China's leaders meeting in Beijing to talk about the country's economy. Here's Jeremy House.
The meeting is aimed at searching for ways to mend China's fractured property market, create jobs for millions of unemployed youths, and spur faster growth. The National Financial Work Conference, usually held twice a decade, is expected to further fortify leader Xi Jinping's control of the country's $61 trillion financial sector. It follows the announcement last week of plans to issue $330 billion in bonds for infrastructure projects and disaster prevention.
That's Jeremy House reporting. Some pumpkin farmers in the West are feeling the pinching effects of drought this season. Colorado farmer Alan Mazzotti says by the time it started raining, it was just too late for this year's crop.
We found out pretty early in the year that our reservoir supplies were pretty low, and we were only going to get about half the water we normally get on a normal year.
Things moving on Wall Street right now. The Dow is up by 361 points. More of these stories at townhall.com.
Donald Trump's indictment proves that saving America is not going to be easy. There are entrenched powers that are fighting this with everything they've got. They want to keep control over the country, the narrative, and the nation's money supply. Hi, I'm Lance Wallnau. I'm a news analyst, a Christian author, an evangelical leader. I speak to millions of people every week, people just like you. You see, what the elites are doing is using inflation and government handouts and now central bank digital currencies to determine how they're going to control America. And that's why I recommend all Christians start a gold IRA from the Birch Gold Group, because physical precious metals are one of the few ways you can maintain control over your own savings. To get a free info kit on gold IRAs, text the word faith to 989898. Birch Gold Group is the only gold company I trust. Get their free info kit and you'll see why a gold IRA can help you. There are no strings attached. Text the word faith to 989898 and you're going to be blessed by taking action right now.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Sunshine returns today after a damp and cold weekend, but it's not going to help the temperatures. This is going to be the coldest stretch of weather we've seen so far this season. 44 for the high today. Tonight, a clear sky down to 28 in the city of St. Louis. A hard freeze area-wide, even colder in the outskirts. And then Halloween's high, still only in the mid-40s. By trick-or-treat time tomorrow night, boy, bundle those kids up. Temperatures will be slipping into the 30s, wind chills creeping down into the 20s. That's your forecast. I'm First Alert meteorologist Matt Shane.
This hour of News Talk STL is brought to you by Stifel, serving investors for over 130 years. Contact your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com.
Well, it's fall, y'all. Time to give Hanson's Tree Service a call this fall, 636-379-1830, 24/7, always available at hansonstree.com. Fall is the perfect time to spruce up and beautify your landscape beds with that fantastic organic mulch in bulk from Hanson's. What else should you do? How about clear out all the overhanging trees, get rid of all the old stumps, generally clean up the homestead as we head towards Old Man Winter. They're standing by to help you today, 636-379-1830, or 24/7, always available at hansonstree.com, hansonstree.com.
Do you live in St. Charles County? Then you can get Mid-Rivers News Magazine delivered free to your home just by asking for it. Mid-Rivers News Magazine is the only print source for the political, school, business, and sports news happening in your hometown. Simply visit midriversnewsmagazine.com/subscribe to get a copy delivered to your mailbox. Or you can pick up a free copy at all area Deerbergs and Schnuck stores. Mid-Rivers News Magazine. Anybody who wants it gets it. Anybody who gets it wants it. Subscribe for free today.
Staff Sergeant Mark Anthony Madrid.
Staff Sergeant Samantha Cowell.
I'm Staff Sergeant Alex
Staff
Steele.
Sergeant
William Lewis, and I am proud to defend my family and our nation.
The Air Force Reserve is part of the story of
this great nation.
I'm grateful that I have a chance to wear the uniform of the heroes that went before me.
I'm proud to be part of a team that helps make a difference in the world.
Every day, men and women from communities across this nation serve as reserve citizen airmen. Even as technology evolves and changes, our commitment to defend and protect this nation remains steadfast. We celebrate those who have served and those who are proudly serving. We celebrate our proud history and look towards an exciting and uniting future. Our mission is to fly, fight, and win in air, space, and cyberspace.
And I am proud to be a member. And I'm proud to serve in the United States. I am proud to protect our country.
Proud to serve in the U.S. Air Force Reserve.
What happens next? Inflation is still too high, and a few months of good data are only the beginning of what it will take to build confidence. What happens right here.
This has been a long ordeal, but I think we finally have the right leader.
1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL. News, analysis, opinion. News Talk STL.
From the NYPD to the Secret Service to behind the microphone, taking the fight to the radical left and the putrid swamp. You're listening to the Dan Bongino Show. Here he is, Dan Bongino.
Always good to be back here with you on a Monday. I actually look forward to Mondays because I feel, it's weird. You work these 5 days, you're off 2. I mean, it's not weird. It's a weekend. We're kind of used to it. We've all dealt with it forever. We love it. But for me, it's difficult because it really isn't like a job for me. I really enjoy doing it. And I feel like I come back on Monday and I feel like I owe you, like I screwed you over there. I really screwed my listeners over off Saturday and Sunday because so much stuff happens over the weekend and I got to pour it all into a Monday show. And some of it is really kind of, really digs at me. And I feel like sometimes at the time, wish I had like an instant kind of like thing on my phone. You know how you can just go on like Facebook Live or you go on Rumble and you can just live stream anytime on your phone? I wish radio had that. Like maybe we should talk to the program directors and get like 300 radio plus stations to agree that Dan can just call in and they'd be like, what are you, crazy, bro? We like your show. We don't like it that much. But something happened this weekend and there's a lot to talk about today. As I say often, I was told early in the radio business, never tell people what you're going to talk about because you may not get to it, but we don't like rules, so we do it anyway. Obviously, we're going to get to what happened this weekend at the border. It may have gotten lost amongst the other news. Some staggering numbers came out. Something about campaigns that's really important, too, that I've said often on the show about what campaigns really are. If you've run for office, you know this. And something that happened on the Democrat side that's going to be really damaging. Also, I get often from people, Dan, why do you talk the way you do, act the way you do? It's not necessarily an insult, but some people are genuinely curious as to why I am the way I am. Well, this audio we're going to play in the beginning will pretty much sum that up. But I want to talk about something that happened over the weekend that, granted, in the grand scheme of things worldwide, I understand is probably not the biggest story, but it's a big story to me. So the actor Matthew Perry, who many of you probably know from Friends, he was in a lot of other stuff too. He was in some show with this like tough guy, like macho kind of dude, and they were like friends. I forget the name of it, but it was on in I think the 80s or something like that. So Matthew Perry, he was found dead this weekend. And you're probably wondering, like, why are we talking about this to open up the show? Folks, because this isn't really a story about Matthew Perry, even though it is. It's more a story about a lot of our listeners out there and what you're dealing with either yourself or with your families with substance abuse. Whenever I hear stories like this, the only reason this one particularly jumps out at me, and we don't know, by the way, what killed him yet. I just want to be clear on that. I'm not sure what happened. Was it some kind of cardiac incident? I have no idea. But his documented history with substance abuse is not guesswork. He talked about it all the time, so openly. But my daughter, I don't know if you know this, my daughter Isabel was named after a character in a Matthew Perry movie. So it's one of the reasons I know the guy. I didn't watch Friends. My wife did. I mean, I know about it. I didn't watch it. And my daughter was named after one of the characters in there. My wife's texting me, no, I know the name of the movie, Paul. I was talking about something different. I was talking about the TV show. So my wife and I, when Paula was pregnant with Isabel, Isabel didn't have a name. She was just a little girl inside the womb of Paula. And we were looking for a name and we couldn't find one. And my wife and I used to watch this movie, Fools Rush In. And we liked the movie because it's kind of funny, but Matthew Perry's in it and he's dating Salma Hayek. She gets pregnant. They get married. They separate. They get back together. And the movie was only interesting because it reminded me so much of Paula. Like I was this white dude with this job, and Paula was this Hispanic woman. She's Colombian. Salma Hayek's character was Mexican in the movie, but like Salma Hayek's like dancing in the kitchen, doing a little like salsa or whatever. And Matthew Perry comes rolling down me. I can't dance to save my life. I got hips like a fire hydrant, like they don't move. When Shakira said hips don't lie, mine lie all the time. So because they move, but they really can't move. You come down, you watch Paula like shaking the, and you're like, yeah. And so I saw the movie and I'm like, this kind of reminds me of us, our story. I mean, my daughter, Isabel, was at our wedding, if you know what I mean. She doesn't know it, but, well, she figured it out by the math, but she was there. So it's kind of a similar story. And the character, Salma Hayek's character's name is Issa for Isabel. So that's how we named her. So he died this weekend after a battle with substance abuse. And I lost my cousin Sean the same way. He was a young kid. He was about 10 years younger than me. And he was a great kid. He was an amazing kid. I mean, a really amazing kid, a special kid. His dad, who also passed, was the hardest working guy I ever met. Jimmy Sheriff was his name. He was my aunt was my mother's sister, so he was kind of like an uncle by marriage. But he was always a real uncle to me. I mean, hardest working guy I ever met. And he used to do some plumbing work. And he's sitting at a school one day, and at my cousin Sean's school doing some work. And my cousin Sean walked out of class to sit with him, and he wouldn't go back into class because he didn't want to see his dad work alone. That's the kind of kid this guy was. He'd give you anything. And he got in a car accident, Sean. And he was never the same, and he got into drugs. I don't know how it started, maybe from the painkillers, whatever it was. But he was a young kid and a special kid and a smart kid. He had an amazing tennis career and everything. And I got a call one day. I was leaving Los Angeles. I was doing some film work for a documentary about the Secret Service that aired on the History Channel. We were driving back to Nevada. And they called me. And they said, Dan, it was my cousin. She said, they found Sean dead in a bathtub in the flop house in Brooklyn. So when I hear these stories, yeah, he's a Hollywood actor. I never met the guy in my life. Don't know anything about him. Politics, I don't even care. It doesn't matter. I just want to say that people out there, addicts and people who have addicts in their family listening, that, people love you. People care about you, no matter how bad you think your situation is. If you're sitting there in some flop house right now, listening on a Bluetooth because you're bored or got nothing else to do, or you're high in a room, I just want you to know that people love you and care about you, including me. But you never met me. I don't have to. Haven't been a cop and haven't had this addiction problem in my family and suffering with my own demons. I don't have to know you to say I love you. And I care about you, and your family cares about you too. And when you die like Matthew Perry, you may not be known worldwide, but you're known by a lot of people. And a lot of people cared about you. And they're going to mourn. And they're going to be really sad. And it's not about you. So do the right thing. Fight those demons. I know what they're like. I got my own demons, man. I'm not your preacher. I feel like your brother, man. But God loves you and people love you. And I want you to know when death comes for you, it can come suddenly. My cousin was a young kid, man. He was barely into his 20s. And it was really tough. Family was never the same. So just keep that in mind when you hear that story this weekend. You impact a lot of people's lives. So, now, I mean, I feel like we really know each other. I probably spilled too much on the air, but I feel it's unfair if you're going to spend 3 and 4 hours a day with me, if you listen to the show and watch the podcast and chat with me in the live chat, that I hide from you what some of you voluntarily tell to me. I mean, people reach out to me on Facebook and tell me everything, all about their lives, and I feel like I know you all. I feel like you should know me too. And that those scars are there. And I just have a real soft spot for addicts and people who've been in jail. And I really do, because I feel like I don't want to say anything stupid like, who am I to judge? I mean, we all should have some moral compass. We judge ourselves and everyone else by it. It's just a stupid thing to say, like, who am I to judge kind of thing. It's overly simplistic. But I'm not naive enough to think for a second that with the right stresses applied to me, I couldn't have the same issues. People love you, man. And you're welcome on this show anytime. I just want you to know that. Always. So another thing I get, onto a different story, a bit of a lighter note, is people ask me a lot, especially on Facebook and Twitter and Truth. They say, why are you the way you are? Some people don't like the language on my podcast. It's obviously a little different. Although I hear we can change that. Jim told me the FCC made a major rule. Is that true, Jim? No, it's still really? So you're saying I was misinformed. Okay. Completely misinformed. Okay. It's interesting because I just read Jim's book this weekend, which is amazing. We'll be more on that in the future. And he knows that the FCC still is. I don't know. So the language on the podcast, however, where there's really not a lot of FCC issues there, is a little different. So I get questions a lot from people. And understandably, I get it. I'm not knocking you. Some people even write me letters. Dan, what kind of Christian are you? I get it. I understand. One, I'm absolutely a Christian. I believe and love Jesus Christ. And I do understand about the language thing. But this is not an excuse for the language issue on the podcast. It's not an excuse at all. It's just an explanation. Those are not the same things, okay? I grew up in New York. And in New York, people, Jim, can you attest to this? You were a New York guy yourself. That cursing in New York is not a thing. Like, it's not like I don't want to say it's not a bad thing. It's just not a thing. Like, people do it as a course of normal conversation to the point where the effect of it is not the same. Maybe I'm not saying this right. So when I saw this, it's almost like Jim said, right? It's like more of an art form than a form of communication. Like the F word in New York it doesn't mean what you think. It can mean like 100 different things. It doesn't necessarily, you're like, it doesn't, and everybody gets it, even though it's the same word. So what I'm getting is, when you're up in New York, the guys and the ladies in New York are really a different breed. They're very tough people. I grew up there. A lot of it explains the way Donald Trump talks the way he does, because even though he grew up in a wealthy area of Queens, I grew up in Queens too. Everybody in Queens has a chip on their shoulder, and they all talk like this. I could make the case to you strongly that I think, my humble opinion, New York's the toughest place on earth. That if you were to pick a random sample of 1,000 people from around New York City, you would find, say, the toughest guys on average anywhere on earth. So some moron thought he was going to go and rip down some of these, pictures of the Israelis taken hostage and killed that they were placing up around New York. And the guy's a terrorist simp, obviously, loves terrorists, of course, because he wants to rip down signs of their criminality and terrorism and their victims. So the guy didn't plan on this, I guess. A New York guy who sounds like every single New Yorker I ever met decided he was going to confront this guy. And let's just say it didn't end well for the terrorist simp. Check this out.
I'm not Jewish. He's not Jewish. I don't know if he is or not. Doesn't matter. This is U.S. This is New York City. You don't have a right to touch that. This is a free country. You can wave your Palestine flag and say death to the Jews or America whenever you want. But we can put up signs, okay? Then don't rip that down. You are doing something. You're offending us. Yeah, you are. When you throw that on the floor, you're littering the city. In a minute, I'm going to litter on the floor with you. You have a proof? So move the on. You have proof they're not kidnapped? No, so shut the up. I know that's what you want. Hey, dying put you in the hospital. Come on, you piece of.
Okay, that didn't end well for the terror simp did not end well. And notice the terror simp guy who's ripping down the pictures of the victims of the demon savages, when he gets confronted by an actual man who, by the way, is about the same size as the terror simp. It's not like the guy's like 10 feet tall. The terror simp guy's like, I don't know. All of a sudden, he's not screaming like pro-Palestine or whatever anymore. And this is my experience with these guys. They're total cowards. And you run into a real New Yorker, and all of a sudden things are different. Now you see why I am the way I am? Folks, again, I'm not making an excuse. I'm just giving you an explanation. Jim, open your mic a second. I know we got to take a break, but seriously, because you grew up there too. Is what I'm saying true? Is this not about every single New Yorker you ever met?
It's true.
I've never seen Jim at a loss for words because he's trying to he's telling me we got to go to break too while he's doing all this. It is absolutely true. This is what everybody's like. And it's why everybody in New York, despite the fact that they seem rude, it's why you don't see street fights breaking out every 10 seconds. They happen, but because everybody in New York knows the other guy is not screwing around. So generally in New York, there's like this rapprochement among people. Because you may think you're a badass, but the guy next to you is probably a badass too. So he hits you with a piece of ice in a bar. You're like, it's okay, bro. I get it. But I do that at you on purpose. It's still okay. I'm all right. That's why that happens. All right. More on this coming up next. We'll be right back.
Bongino. Hi, it's Larry Elder. And I want to talk to you about 100% drug-free Relief Factor. I've been telling you about it for years on radio and television. Why? Because I believe in it. I use it. My friends use it. And hundreds of thousands of others out there have tried it. About 70% of those people go on to order more. They find that Relief Factor works to help their bodies fight inflammation and eliminate their pain. Take Mark in Texas, for example. He'd been dealing with pain in his right shoulder for months, almost constantly, when he decided to give Relief Factor a try. Within 2 weeks of taking it every day, the pain in his shoulder faded away and completely disappeared. There are so many people out there whose experiences with Relief Factor are just like Mark's. What about you? Might your pain be the next to go away with Relief Factor? Your first step to becoming pain-free just might be to order the 3-week quick start for only $19.95. Just go to relieffactor.com, relieffactor.com, or call 800-4-RELIEF, 800-4-RELIEF. Feel the difference.
Dan Bongino.
When you've got something to say, be heard loud and clear.
If they'll just do what they were voted in to do.
This party needs to get a backbone. They need to get some spine.
Join the conversation. St. Louis's place to talk.
The Democrats and the Republicans can give us all the lip service they want, but what they need to do is take action today.
101.9 and 94.1.
You know, you have to take a stand sometimes.
This is News Talk STL. News, analysis, and opinion.
Hey guys, Ken Kruger. I've gotten to know these guys really well over the last few years. Yes, St. Louis Bath and Renovation. They're the most trusted name in bathroom remodelers in the St. Louis area. In fact, if you need bathroom repairs, complete bathroom remodeling, or handyman services, call St. Louis Bath and Renovation at 314-477-6476 or email Rob at stlbr.com. That's St. Louis Bath and Renovation.
Seavers JCB in St. Peters carries a full line of JCB construction equipment to get the job done safer, faster, and better. JCB compact and large excavators are designed to excel where it matters most: comfort, controllability, reliability, serviceability, and performance. Seavers JCB also stocks a large assortment of attachments for smooth and seamless productivity. Check out all JCB has to offer at Seavers JCB in St. Peters and in select Seavers equipment locations in Illinois or at SeaversJCB.com.
Columbo and Katie.
These things happen that you can't predict them with specificity, but you can know that they happen. And once they do happen, it is too late to prepare. Even the Israelis, Iron Dome usually protecting all of their towns and cities from most of the stuff that comes in, even they were caught by surprise. The world reminds us to take these issues seriously.
Tony Columbo, Katie Fitzpatrick, weekdays at 2 on News Talk STL.
From home improvement to replacement, do-it-yourself electrical projects can be Shocking. That's where Grasser Electric can help. They've been lighting up St. Louis for years. From ceiling fans and dimmer switches to repair or replacing your electric. No job is too big or too small for your home or business. Grasser Electric will even install emergency backup generators. So call Grasser Electric today before the sparks start to fly. 636-441-5200 or go to grasserelectric.com.
News, analysis, opinion.
We cannot give up on peace. We cannot give up on a two-state solution.
Another morning marked by death and destruction in Gaza City.
Our maneuvers are going to take the war into their territory.
This is News Talk STL.
Police are currently searching for a Robert R. Card.
18 people lost their lives.
Today, we reached a tentative agreement with Ford.
1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
We're thrilled to be here.
And NewstalkSTL.com. News, analysis, opinion. News Talk STL.
Beer with it? That sounds like something to look into, and that is MediShare. Maybe you've heard switching to MediShare to pay for healthcare can save many families up to $500 a month, and that is huge. But it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. MediShare works too. It's been around for 30 years. Members have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now. You'll get a price within 2 minutes. So see what you can save. This is a very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. Call 844-53-BIBLE. That's 844-53-BIBLE. 844-53-BIBLE.
Turn it up to make sure your liberal neighbors finally hear some common sense. The Dan Bongino Show.
There you go, Jeremy. I know you've been looking forward to us getting on back on track with Joan Jett Mondays. Joan Jett gets me going every Monday. So listen, a lot of problems in the world, but the show goes on. The show goes on, and I hope we can help Band-Aid some of them. There are no fixes for problems. There's only Band-Aids, and trading them for other problems that are hopefully lesser in severity. But the show does go on. So we play Joan Jett on Mondays. And in Jim's new book, he explains all this. You know, let me tell you something just quick. So I had Jim a while ago. I said, Jim, you got to put together a listener guide for the audience, a Goofy Glue incident, explaining everything. It was like kind of a gag book thing, like I thought, a funny thing around the holidays. Jim sends me the manuscript this weekend, folks. It's like a serious book. It's like a real book. I'm reading it like, he's like, got like what happened with Limbaugh, like he did like some, I'm like, dude, this is supposed to be like a gag. I couldn't put it down. I read the book in 2 hours. I was like, damn, that's a good book, dude. This guy can write. He only got one thing wrong. He said I moved in 7th grade. It was 3rd grade, but we'll call it a typo. That was it. The whole book. Amazing work. But that New York stuff, man, we played before. That was for real. I'm glad some of you liked that clip with that guy confronting the terrorist sim, because that's New York. That is exactly what I grew up in all the time, and it's why New Yorkers are the way they are, and it's also why Trump talks the way he does. That's exactly why. They grow up with and I don't mean it in a nasty kind of way, but a chip on their shoulder for all kinds of reasons. Is it bad enough yet? More than that.
Do you have a life insurance policy of $100,000 or more that you don't need? Well, don't lapse or surrender your policy. You might be sitting on a gold mine. That's right. You may be able to sell all or part of your life insurance policy to Coventry for cash, or a combination of cash and coverage with no future premiums, even a term policy. Call Coventry Direct at 800-416-0600 or visit coventrydirect.com to find out if you're sitting on a gold mine. That's 800-416-0600. For over 25 years, we've helped thousands of people sell their policies, and we can probably help you too. Call us today at 800-416-0600 or visit coventrydirect.com to find out if you're sitting on a gold mine. That's 800-416-0600. Call now.
Dan Bongino.
Major. With SRN News, I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. General Motors and the United Auto Workers Union have reached a tentative contract agreement that could end a 6-week-old strike against Detroit automakers. 3 people briefed on the deal say it follows the pattern set with Ford last week and Jeep maker Stellantis over the weekend. The deals will last 4 years and 8 months and include 25% general pay raises and cost of living adjustments as well. Israel has expanded its assault deeper into northern Gaza as the UN medical staff expressed fears of airstrikes hitting closer to hospitals. Israel facing the dilemma of the Hamas terrorist group, which attacked it on October 7th, deliberately using civilians as so-called human shields, raising the risk of civilian casualties as Israel fights for its very survival. On Wall Street, the Dow Jones Industrial Average doing well right now by 335 points. This is SRN News.
Donald Trump's indictment proves that saving America is not going to be easy. There are entrenched powers that are fighting this with everything they've got. They want to keep control over the country, the narrative, and the nation's money supply. Hi, I'm Lance Wallnau. I'm a news analyst, a Christian author, and evangelical leader. I speak to millions of people every week, people just like you. You see, what the elites are doing is using inflation and government handouts and now central bank digital currencies to determine how they're going to control America. And that's why I recommend all Christians start a gold IRA from the Birch Gold Group, because physical precious metals are one of the few ways you can maintain control over your own savings. To get a free info kit on gold IRAs, text the word faith to 989898. Birch Gold Group is the only gold company I trust. Get their free info kit and you'll see why a gold IRA can help you. There are no strings attached. Text the word faith to 989898, and you're going to be blessed by taking action right now.
St. Louis's new choice for conservative talk.
I don't know where I would get the truth if it weren't for you.
Live and local.
Welcome to the People's Republic of America stand. Here comes another roller coaster, another circus.
This is News Talk STL.
If you're considering an annuity as part of your retirement plan, we need to talk. Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale, Senior Vice President Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL 1019. Annuities can be a useful tool for some retirement investors, but not all annuities are created equal. Every week, we meet clients who own complex annuities that don't suit their needs and, in some cases, actively undermine their retirement plan. Before you purchase an annuity, get a second opinion from the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel. Requesting a consultation is free of charge. To request a free consultation, contact us at clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member NYSE and SIPC.
Tim Jones here to announce that Professional Irrigation Systems is now Pro Outdoor. The change reflects their commitment to the innovation of the industry, expansion of services they offer that our family has used for years. Lawn fertilization, landscape maintenance, outdoor lighting, of course, irrigation. Their commitment to their customers remains the highest priority. Same team, same awesome equipment, same quality of service you've come to know and love. To learn more about their services, including fall specials, call them 636-565-0196 or anytime 24/7 at prooutdoor.com. That's prooutdoor.com.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
Monday. I'm sure it was a wild weekend. Know everything you need to know, courtesy of former U.S. Senator Jim Talent. Red State Headlines, Susie Moore.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps. Weekdays at 4 on News Talk STL. News, analysis, opinion. News Talk STL.
Be heard. Call 8444-the-USA now to let Dan know what you think. 844-484-3872. The Dan Bongino Show.
There it is, College Football Monday. Shout out to our friends at the University of Wisconsin, Little House of Pain, which is actually perfect for this segment, whether you know it or not, because if you know, you know. House of Pain's perfect for this segment. Totally unintentional, by the way. Because there is a house of pain being brought down upon you by the Biden administration. Let me tell you something. I ask you all the time, is it bad enough yet? When I say, is it bad enough yet? I mean, is it bad enough yet that voters are going to change en masse? This is critical because I have a lot of theories on the show. Jim has outlined kindly in his new book here. If if you look for a handy dandy guide. But my is it bad enough yet theory is the one I think people misinterpret a lot. When I say, is it bad enough that people are going to change their voting behaviors, I mean it specifically in mass. And I'm using the example always when I talk about it, or if I don't verbalize it, this is what's in my head, is twice in my lifetime, I've lived through apocalyptic type events for political parties. And both times it was the Democrats, where massive numbers of voters realigned and voted for someone different. The 1984 re-election of Ronald Reagan, where Ronald Reagan won 49 out of 50 states. Folks, you can look it up. You don't need to, for some of you who don't study political history and aren't interested that much, feel free to look it up and fact check me on it. Reagan won 49 states as a Republican. So forgive me when people say to me things like, and Jim and I hear this a lot, and they're like, oh, nothing's going to change, man. People are going to keep voting for the same old stuff. It doesn't matter how bad it gets. I say, yeah, it doesn't until it does. And then when it does, everything changes. Because I'm only 48. I'm not even that old. And when I was 10, so it wasn't even 48 years ago. It was 38 years ago. Simple math for the libs out there. When I was 38, 49 states voted for a Republican. The only state Reagan lost was Minnesota, where his opponent Mondale was from. And I think he lost the state by 3,000 votes and only lost it because he didn't want to visit there at the end because he didn't want to embarrass Mondale. That's according to a Secret Service buddy of mine who told me that. You mean Reagan won Maryland, New York, California, Illinois? Yes, 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 and yes. Michigan, Wisconsin? Yes. Georgia, Arizona? Yes, yes, yes. The answer is yes. You can go through all 49. Hawaii? Yes. But Dan, you said you've seen this twice in your lifetime. That's once. Is a moment like that coming? The answer is it is. Oh, it's going to happen again in your lifetime. Is it going to happen for Republicans or Democrats? I don't know, but it's going to happen. These massive political realignments happen all the time. The second time I saw it was New York City, an example I bring up often, so I won't relitigate the whole thing, but Rudy Giuliani's reelection after his first term as New York City mayor when he cleaned up the city of New York. New York City was a city with 8-1 Democrat to Republican voter registration advantage. Wait, you mean 3-1? 4? No, I mean 8. You mean for every one Republican, there were 8 Democrats? Yes, liberals. That's what 8-1 means. And Rudy Giuliani won re-election against 8-1 party registration odds by 18 points. I've seen it twice. I'm only 48. So don't tell me it's not going to happen again. So when people ask me why I'm long on America, why do you think America is going to pull out of this? We're in this interminable decline. I was out this weekend and a rather nice lady, very nice, but I was having some I was at church actually. I'm hesitant to say where I go anymore because some like weird person showed up, but doesn't matter. So I'm walking out of church and I'm talking to this lady, Asian lady, super nice lady walking out. And she says, Dan, I ran into you in a place and you looked mad at me. I said, I was totally not mad at you. I just look mad all the time. I'm like the Hulk in the Marvel movies. Like, how come he doesn't turn into the Hulk all the time when he gets mad? And he looks around and says, because I'm mad all the time. I wasn't mad at all. And I said, no, let's talk and walk. And she was telling me the same thing. Like, it's not going to get any better. We're not going to fix this. It's not going to happen. All this other stuff. And I said, ma'am, I'm not, don't mistake my kind of dour demeanor from my New York personality for not being faithful to the American dream. Like we're going to get through this. We are going to be a better country in the long run because the evidence is on my side because we've always been a better country in the long run. We've been through a freaking civil war, slavery, Jim Crow, the revolution, the War of 1812, World War I, World War II, Vietnam, the hippies, stagflation, Jimmy Carter, Bill Clinton getting in the Oval Office. And we're still richer and we still are the most powerful country on earth. So the evidence is on my side, bro. Like I'm winning. Right? I'm winning. You're not. You have no evidence we're going to collapse. I have all the evidence in the world that we've been close to collapse and come out better for it. And the answer is because it always gets bad enough. always, that people start to realize, gosh, this is starting to hurt me now too. The problem with liberals, especially when they leave and they move to states like Florida or Arizona from California, they come down from New York to Florida. The problem with liberals is it allows them to escape the consequences of their actions. So they leave New York because they're like, gosh, my daughter got mugged. And for as crazy as this sounds to you, they never make the connection that they did this by voting for people who hate the police and want to defund the police. Folks, I get it. You're probably going to say, no, they get it, Dan. Folks, they don't. I'm telling you, they are so, it's like explaining to someone in a cult, like a literal cult, that the Kool-Aid is not the elixir. They're like, no, this guy told me it's going to save me from the demons. Like you even when they see the death in front of them. Jim, am I right or am I right? Like, if you ever studied cult behavior, well, what do you know about psychology? Well, that's what I went to school for 6 years. So when you study this type of allegiance to a malformed idea, an idea formed in your head, I say malformed because it's not based in any reality. It's almost impossible to shake these people. But there comes these moments, these kind of road to Damascus moments, where people have these life-changing events. Is it a near-death experience? Is it bankruptcy? Is your business going out? And it's always something that's a kitchen table issue that hits them directly. The thing about the Biden team and the Biden administration is there have been really horrible Democrat presidents who have gotten reelected because not enough people thought it was bad enough yet. And the reason is not enough people were directly impacted with the real material cost doctrine of Michael Anton. Michael Anton has this theory about real material cost. I believe it's him. It's in Jim's book too. How until you impose real material costs on people, they will never, ever vote different or change their behavior. They're just not going to do it. The problem Joe Biden has, and I'm hoping people wake up before the election en masse. I'm not optimistic about before the election, but it's possible. The reason Biden's in so much trouble is the three biggest problems I think he has right now are all issues that impose real material costs on people and they can't escape from. No matter how bad Obama was, and gosh, he was bad, people didn't feel like it was bad enough. It was like, yeah, he was trying to get your guns, but Jim, right? Like, but he never really got, like most of you have guns, you probably still have them, right? Like Obama's team didn't knock on the door. Listen, he would have in a minute, believe me, if the courts wouldn't have shut him down. But the hard reality is for all the talk and all this stuff with the Obama administration, I would argue the most damaging thing he did was Obamacare. And that probably cost him all those congressional seats, but it still wasn't enough of a direct kitchen table issue that imposed real material costs on real people in real time, that it was enough to get him out of office, because it wasn't. The guy still got probably 60% approval, if not higher, with Democrats and independents. Definitely with Democrats. The problem Biden has is these three things: inflation, the border, and crime. And these are things that people can see and are starting to have direct material impacts on people's lives. Folks, there is no scenario in the United States right now by which you're not impacted by inflation. None. Oh, Dan, these fat cat rich people, they don't care. No, they do. Now, personally, they may be hedged. They may have assets in a real estate portfolio and gold and other things that work as a hedge against inflation, so it won't deeply impact them as much as it would you. And let's be honest, do they really care if cereal's $8.99 a box? I'm serious. If you're making $1 million a month, and I'm telling you, I met some people like that. When I go out, sometimes I'll go out in my friend's boat. You meet some people with some like super yachts, and I ask them their salary, but they're probably making that kind of money. They don't care if Cocoa Puffs are $8.99 a box. They don't give a damn at all. They don't even buy their own food. They got some server person, whatever, in the house that's buying it all for them. They don't even care. But inflation impacts them too because they're running businesses. A lot of them are running mega construction companies that are finding out that inputs are 20 and 30% more expensive. You're running a business with a 5-10% profit margin, and your inputs are 20% more expensive. And now your labor costs are going up because employees are demanding more to pay for inflation. You're damn right you're impacted. These are kitchen table issues. Bill Clinton, despite all his problems, the whoosh in the Oval Office bathroom, you know what I'm saying? Left office with a 60% approval rating. Why? Because, ladies and gentlemen, Bill Clinton, what he did with his Oscar Mayer thingy, let's be honest, really didn't impose a real material cost on people. What are you defending, Bill Clinton? What are you, crazy? Are you smoking crack? Hell no. I'm trying to give you hard political science, like a syrup of Ipecac, so you don't have unrealistic expectations of the work we're going to need to do to win this next election. Ladies and gentlemen, nobody really cared about Bill Clinton's thing in the Oval Office bathroom. Nobody cared. People said they cared, but they didn't. The guy got reelected in a landslide, left office with a huge approval rating. You know why? Despite all his nonsense and foibles and garbage, the economy, despite Bill Clinton, was still growing. Biden's different. Biden is in a world of trouble. Look at this. On the screen now, Biden's approval rating among Democrats, I'm watching this on cable now, is down 11%. Down 11% just the last few months. This guy is an absolute political cancer. Inflation impacts everyone. Everyone. Second, the border. Folks, this is an issue in the past that, again, candidly, did not impact everyone. No, it did, Dan. It's our country. I get it. You're correct. I'm talking about directly in your life. I'm not talking about the country, the demographics, the census, the Democrats' obsession with this replacement theory they keep talking about. That's their thing. I'm just saying the hard reality for a lot, not all, of people across America is immigration didn't directly impact them. It is now. Because these genius governors along the southern border and people like DeSantis down in Florida did probably, I would argue, I don't know, Jim, if you agree with me on this, the single most slick, effective, tactical immigration maneuver I've ever seen. The buses. They said, okay, you people in Chicago want to talk a lot of smack about sanctuary cities. Start taking in a couple thousand a month, illegal immigrants in your schools. Now we'll see how's that taste. All of a sudden, it had a direct material impact on people's lives. And folks, Biden, whether fairly or not, there's another issue that's eating him alive. It's not just inflation and the border and crime. There's another issue eating him alive in the polls that is a direct material impact on people. That's a kitchen table issue. And this is why this guy is in a world of trouble and has the capacity, if he wins a second term, to change American politics forever. If he wins a second term and there are 6 more years of this, folks, it's going to get so bad. I can almost guarantee you like a Reagan-esque like landslide in the next election. We got to get him out now. Don't get me wrong. Don't mistake what I'm saying today. I'm trying to give you some hard political facts based on years of experience in this space and studying people's psychology and the sociology of voting and everything about it. The crime issue is eating the Democrats up. Folks, there are people alive now that are not even that old, 30s, 40s, and 50s, that lived in big cities that had either sane Democrats or Republicans in charge that took a tough on crime approach, i.e. Rudy Giuliani in New York. They're alive. They remember what New York City looked like in the golden years of the Giuliani economy and the crime rates being dramatically down. You get on the subway, no one ever worried about getting mugged in the Giuliani era. Now you've got Democrats in charge, de Blasio and now Eric Adams. They can see it. They may be Democrats, but they're not dumb. They're like, wait, this is just different. The Democrat Party has the stain of the anti-police movement all over it. And fairly or not, this is going to really tinge Joe Biden's political campaign. It's going to be, he is on a really awful track here. Now, are we going to fix it? Are we going to wind up winning the next election? I don't know. I'm not overly optimistic about the next election, but I am long on America because this type of stuff absolutely